Coming up on this episode of The Brain Drain Show.
I'd asked the publisher if they could not put my name on it because I wrote the intro and I wrote a little thing about Gavin Hills at the end, but otherwise I'm not in it. Like, I didn't write this. It was all the people who I spoke to. It was their words that made this thing exist. There are pros that I've spoken to that have never seen graphics of theirs. They just didn't know that ever got made. Steve Rocco works with us. He brought in Mike V. So Steve Rocco and Mike V are back together now. Look Back Library, massive shout out. He helped me fill in a lot of the gaps. There were US mags he was looking for, things I had duplicates of, so we did a bit of swapping. I got a lot of slaps that I'd missed. But people level all these accusations at it, possibly haven't really read it and understood where they were coming from and what they were doing. If you're offended by this, you don't get the statement that's been made here. He helped change the direction of that. Jeff Rowley changed the direction of Vans by insisting that they make canvas vulcanized shoe in 1999. And that's a guy from Egberth in Liverpool changing global culture, not just even footwear fashion, with Seb and Mackie and Baines and all those guys care about skateboarding. The most liked thing was a photo of Avi in Skateboard Magazine skating a hip in Bolton. Yeah, when Wig turned up, you would land it because you knew if Wig was shooting, it would go in the magazine. Died, of course, as well, came back to life after being hit by a car. He's got a photo in 1987 and he's got a photo in 2002. He must be the only person. There are not as many Curtis skate photos in here as I had planned. His two most known photographs are an ollie down 6 stairs. To be represented by two ollies down 6 stairs, it's like, I kind of see his point there. Tom Penny talks about going to Uxbridge and seeing Mike Manzuri do these massive frontside melancholies, the width of the ramp. That again was TLB, like he's still changing things. Then he went on and made the .gov website. Oh, I thought it was for him.
Good evening and welcome to another great episode of The Brain Drain Show with me, Forde Brookfield. Joined to my left is my trusty co-host, Toby. What? Oh, no!
It's me. It's Mr. Warman.
It's not Toby. It's Nick Warman. Toby's doing secret, vertically challenged human stuff.
Right.
Can't really say what, but he might actually pop in.
I hope so. You get to see him.
I don't.
Oh.
He might actually. I feel quite refreshed that he's not here.
Well, it's going to bring a different dynamic, isn't it?
And he always says to me as well, he's always like, you need to get someone... Whose phone's vibrating?
It's mine, sorry.
You producer bastard. He always says to me, he's like, I need to quit the podcast. You need to get someone else to do the podcast with. And I'm like, well, if there's one person it's going to be with Nick Warman. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because he's a fucking nerd.
See, like, this is how you got in touch with me. So phone rings, look at it. And like I said, he's lucky it got through.
You were about to decline it.
About to decline it, and you were like, "Yeah, Toby can't make it. Would you be able to come in and do this?" Like I thought of you because you've done it before, and you're a nerd, and that was great.
Yeah,
thanks, buddy.
I think before I even finished it, you were like, "Okay, I'm in," and I was like, "And you're a nerd." You were like, "No, it's okay, I'm in." I was like, "Yeah, you're a bit of a. I'm already keen. You don't need to call me any more names."
Yeah, rude.
But anyway. Let's cut the bullshit. Join to the left. Well, join to your left. Do you want to introduce the special guest of this episode, or shall I?
No, I shall. It's Neil Macdonald.
Round of applause in the studio audience, please, from Neil Macdonald. Travel all the way down here to be on the UK's, maybe even Europe's #1 skateboarding, comedy, lifestyle, romance.
Thanks for having me.
See, I can say all of this because Toby's not here. Usually he goes, it's not fucking comedy. I'm like, it is.
But it's surely the only podcast, is it not?
Yes. No.
Someone else doing this stuff.
No, these other podcasts, but it's only audio stuff. There's the Skate Creative podcast.
Yeah, Joel.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's I shouldn't have forgot his name because I ran into him. He's in Bristol.
Matt Barr.
What's his called?
Looking Sideways.
That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that's a big deal. That's a proper one.
Yeah. So there's a couple, but I think we're the only primarily the only video.
Right, okay.
The only video one.
People get to see our faces.
Yeah.
Lucky them.
Yeah. People get to watch this nearly every other Thursday. But anyway, enough about us. How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, thanks. I am just about to put this book out that I've spent the last 6 years working on. This
a weighty tome, that is.
Book. And working for Sidewalk Distribution, holding down a full-time day job in amongst. Like I thought when I finished the book, and
I'm going to retire.
Yeah, well, when it went to be made, I thought, cool, I can now forget about that for a while and do this sidewalk distribution stuff, which is tons of fun. But
we'll get onto it a little bit more as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but the book stuff, I'm kind of having to do more on that now, but it's mostly fun. This is fun so far, but there's some things that are more kind of procedural and a little bit tedious, but it's all part of having a book published.
What kind of procedural stuff are we talking?
There's some of the newspapers that are running stuff, picking photos, and then they're picking the same photos as each other, and I'm having to say, here's a reason why you shouldn't use that in the guest list for the launch event, which is kind of on me. And either thanks everybody for coming, it was a brilliant night, or yeah, I'm really sorry about what happened that night, because this will go out after that.
Predicting how the future might be.
You can cut that as necessary. And yeah, organising the various regional launches as well, because it is a book about UK skateboarding. There's the London launch, then there's on publication date, there's the Welcome in Leeds launch,
right,
which will be a big deal because they've got Village Books above them. They've got a gallery anyway, and then there'll be a slam event, and then there will be a lost art event, and then I was talking on the train down there with Martin about doing a slugger event, a Sheffield event. So they kind of main, and I think something in Newcastle as well with Jackie from Native.
Right, nice.
Because these are where, where the big scenes are and are in the book. So each launch will be related to that region. There will be a gallery show of, those dudes, and we'll get the people from who made things happen to come and talk. Like the London launch is going to be Dan McGee and Pete Hellicar in conversation. Liverpool will be Mackie, Kevin Banks, and Wig. Wig shot a lot up there as well. Leeds is going to be Ben Powell and Wig, I think, as well, because Sidewalk was quite heavily, they did a lot of stuff around Yorkshire. All these things that the marketing people at the publisher, with all credit to them, wouldn't know to do.
They all sound like really good events with like the perfect people for each kind of location. Is that the sort of thing that you like enjoy doing? Is it like, are you a social dude, are you going to like that? Or is it kind of part and parcel of just having to like promote the book?
Well, I'm putting these things together and I'll be present, but like my name's on the book. I'd asked the publisher if they could not put my name on it, because I wrote the intro and I wrote a little thing about Gavin Hills at the end, but otherwise I'm not in it. Like, I didn't write this. It was all the people who I spoke to. It was their words that made this thing exist. So I'll be at these events, so I can talk, hopefully, a bit about UK skateboarding, but I just want to see all these people get together in the room and talk about the things that they maybe never had a chance to talk to when they were in their teens or 20s, talk to each other about. Like, a lot came out in this that, with the benefit of hindsight, a lot of things that people never addressed or thought about or had to think about at the time. But, if I'm saying, this guy mentioned that one time you did this, it could be like, wow, really? That mattered kind of thing, because not everybody's in touch. Not everybody was in touch at the time anyway.
No way.
No mobile phones. No WhatsApp groups.
Realistically, at the time when everyone's in that book, a lot of that material was made when people in their sort of like late teens and early 20s, like, so they're not going to be sort of like fully across all the detail as these days. So, and
everybody's moving forward, like they're scraping by and moving forward, moving on to the next thing. So nobody's got time to sit and consider. Nobody's reflecting. Until you put the question to somebody, and I heard quite a lot, either, how do you know that? Or, I've never thought about that before. But that's because the next guy along had said, oh, you should totally ask him about this. I bet he hasn't thought about that. And then sure enough, and then there's the whole other story unfolds.
That sounds really interesting. So, but you've put together all the questions and everything. So to say that you've written the introduction and you've compiled it, it's
I was just about to say really, the same thing, yeah.
Like, you've spent ages putting all those interview questions together. That's so much research in itself. So it must have taken ages.
It took 6 years, yeah. when lockdown came in 2020, I think the end of February, the start of March, my daughter had just been born and I was on furlough. So it was a bit of a kind of mad situation anyway. I was getting a bit sick of my job and I wanted to read something about the history of UK skateboarding. I'd read all the mags as they come out, and then again read the South Bank book, the Milton Keynes book, the Cambridge book, kind of everything that there was. But it struck me that there was nothing else to read about this. There was no other kind of deep dive into the history. So I thought maybe there ought to be, and I thought I could probably, maybe in a year, I could have got something done here, because I was doing interviews for Slam City Skates at the time anyway, so
right.
I was kind of used to getting on Zoom and asking people questions about skateboarding. And yeah, it turns out it takes a lot longer than that if you want to do it right, I guess. But yeah, I'd phoned round, because Dan Adams had been going to do the Read and Destroy books, and that had faltered, so phoned him. And he didn't have any plans at that time to do anything else. Phoned Ben Powell. He wasn't, he had nothing planned in terms of, in terms of a sidewalk book or anything. So it's like, all right, can I start doing this then? So started asking people a few questions, and people seemed into the idea of it. And I thought I'd self-publish. Then Nick Palomino had said that he might be able to put it out through the shop. Like, he wanted to start a kind of publishing thing. And then, one thing led to other things, and 6 years later, there's this book here.
That's amazing. So, actually, one of the questions I noticed that you had down here was, like, how do you go about getting a book published?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, so I think when we spoke to Dan, he, I think the Read and Destroy book was going to be like 800 pages or something, and they gave him advice on keep it this many pages, because people see like a figure or a number and they're like, well, I'm not going to get through 800 pages. I'm not even going to look through it. So he actually cut it down by about half, roughly, I think like 300 or 400 pages. I don't know how many, but he said one of the biggest pieces of advice from the publishing companies, no one's going to read your book if it's over 300 or 400 pages. I think it's about I think it's about the same. It's similar size. It's like
I think
that Read and Destroy book.
Dan's is 284 pages, I think.
Well, Dan, you've been knocked off the throne there.
Been outdone. Yeah.
But they were just like, don't print more than 300 or 400 or something like that, because people will naturally just be like, it's too big. I'm not going to spend the time to read through it. So was there any? I mean, that's way down the list, which we can talk about. But I think we're on it now anyway. But yeah, how do you go about getting a book published? Like,
Well, to talk about the size of it, this had been, and I'd only typed up the interview material that I thought was interesting, the relevant stuff, and it was 800,000 words.
Yeah.
And this,
I don't think I've ever wrote 800,000 words in my entire
life, right?
Well, what's a dissertation? Like 20,000 or
something like that. Yeah.
So that's many dissertations.
I actually did a master's while I was doing this, kind of for something to do, and
for something to do, a master's.
It was
just
like,
for a laugh. Most people like make a curry or something. Or
it was on the note of dissertation. It's like, what, you get like 3 months to do this.
Yeah,
it was I can do this in like no time at all. Not because I'm good at that or anything. It's just like comparatively to what I had been doing, is this kind of minor thing. It felt like total waste of time, should say, as well, doing that master's.
Rats. What was it in?
In digital journalism.
Well, that sounds perfectly placed.
It's by the time something is being taught, it's out of date. Like, if you want to do that, just do it. Do it your way.
Yeah.
Don't wait for somebody twice your age in my case, slightly younger than me, to tell you how to do it. Just you get started and figure it out by yourself, and then because that curriculum is probably years out of date.
That's out of date, and then the situation's evolving constantly anyway. So,
exactly. Keep your eye on that. Don't be listening for a year or 2 years to what this person's telling you. Just be out there doing it. Yeah, honestly. So as far as getting a publisher, it turned out that to get a publisher, you need an agent. You need to go through an agent, and the agent will represent you, and they'll go to the relevant publishers and they'll pitch it and everything. So Ray Calthorpe, good mate, he several months into this, he remembered that he had a mate who worked for a publisher. He's like, my mate Pete works for a publisher called Batsford. I'll get you to meet him and he can help you, figure out how best to get an agent. So on a London trip, I went and met Pete for lunch and a couple of pints. And after the hour of him sort of explaining to me the procedure of getting an agent and eventually getting a publisher, and me telling him my plan for the book, after that hour, he's like, yeah, this actually might be one for us. I'll go and speak to the MD. And then not long after that, when I was down, he arranged for me to meet a lady called Polly Powell, who's the MD of Batsford. Her dad was a man called Geoffrey Powell of the architects firm Chamberlain, Powell and Bon, who built the Barbican.
Right.
So, pretty interesting bunch of people down there. And Polly was amazing. We had, I think, one drink, and the thing I remember most was her saying, right, so this isn't just pictures of people skateboarding. This is about skateboarding. It's like, that's it. That's really well described. And she's like, right, well, if you want, we can get the payment of your advance on this day, and then you'll get your next payment of your advance on this day. It's like, if I just signed a publishing deal.
Wow.
And it was that simple. And she's like, right, right, gotta go. Catch you later. Just like, whoa, that was easy. But yeah, she totally got it. She got it that it was about everything that happened in skateboarding in this era. It wasn't just like great pictures of great tricks being done. It was about
It's more depth to
the whole culture of skateboarding. Like skateboarding, part of it is riding a skateboard, but the culture of skateboarding is beyond that.
I would have instantly, when she left the room, straight in my Instagram bio, published writer.
Yeah.
Put that in there straight away. Before we go too far into more of the book, because there's more questions, let's take it back to where we usually start. Where are you from, and where did you grow up? We'll go go back to the earliest days.
I'm from and grew up in a place called Prestwick, a seaside town on the southwest of Scotland, 30 miles from Glasgow. It was great for skateboarding because it had a beach, it had a prom, it had shelters and steps and blocks the way that most beaches, I guess, do. And having that edge of town always felt great. It wasn't like you just keep going and it's the postcode changes and it's more houses and more shops. It was this, at night, just this blackness, this edge. And yeah, stayed there until probably like 22 or 23, like a bit longer, I guess, than you would normally stay at home. But it's certainly free to come and go that I pleased at home. But Glasgow was super close. It was easy on the train. Then I got a job in a record shop in Glasgow. Moved up, worked there for 10 years, and then did this other music job, this sort of playlisting job, or audio branding, bespoke audio branding, audio identities, but yeah, playlisting. Started skateboarding in 1988. So this isn't like my story. This starts in 87. Yeah, like 87 was when things really, I would say, changed. But yeah, it started in 88, and there would be the occasional trip to Livingston when that could be figured out, or when somebody's dad had nothing better to do than take us through. And yeah, train trips up to Glasgow, more often than not, just to skate the NCP car park at Central Station.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't even leave the footprint of the station. It was just like, there's a dry place there with curbs, level 8.
Yeah.
And we got to know people on the train line, like the next town up and then the next town up. It's like, now it's easy. You can just like hashtag your search and everything. But then it was like meeting people in the next town, and then they know people from the next town up. And they know the guys from the next town up, and so on. You eventually, very slowly, kind of form this kind of bigger group.
So you said you went to Livy. Did you come across like the Glasgow skaters and the Edinburgh skaters from going there? Because it's kind of both sides come over.
Not really, because we would go there so scarcely that the likelihood of there being other people there that we could connect with was pretty low. More so when Livy Square became a thing. Right. That the street spot, like we would travel across the country to skate some benches and blocks. We'd skate past the skate park. You'd see it on the path and just skate Livy Square. kind of mid-90s, and the actual park it'd be lit up, but it would be empty.
It's almost got to a point. I say to some of the kids here, I'm going to drive 4 hours to skate this spot, and they're like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I grew up doing that, so that's still normal. Whereas if I grew up now, I'd be like, "Oh, there's a park a mile down the road, but it's a bit too far."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of travel doesn't happen anymore.
And when you talk about like going past Livy, like in that sort of like early to mid 90s time, you've not got much for Livy at that time, because that's like a gnarly concrete park. Like you're going to favour ledges, aren't you, over getting your skin literally shredded. That place is gnarly.
Yeah, and Livy was built in, I think, 81. Pretty certain it was finished in 81, just as skateboarding had died.
Yeah.
And then the new section was built in 92, just as everybody stopped skating transitions.
Oh, right. So missed out both times.
Both times, yeah. And then they built a full pipe. I don't know who that was for, but that exists for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, it's all cracks in it. Like, it doesn't work as whatever you're meant to do in a full pipe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some campaign right now to fix it. Don't know why. But yeah, it would always be great at Livy, like at Livy Fun Days.
Yeah.
That new section get called the English section, because that would be the bit that
because it was smaller,
the visitors
so
would skate.
we could cope with it. Yeah. Whereas like all the Scots are just absolutely crushing all the big stuff.
When the buses would arrive, or the cars or whatever, for Fun Day, and it would be all the Southerners coming out, think, I'm gonna. It's like, no, you're not.
Instantly humbled, like
just because you've seen Ben Laden skate this place, I don't think you can do that.
I was just about to say, there's a lot of people I would have loved to have watched skate there, but like Leyden is like one of them.
Leyden, Stu Graham, and Burrows.
I still love seeing Leyden, because I only got to really know him. Like, he started coming to roller snakes around after the podcast had, kicked off, and we'd spoke to like Pritch and Danes and everyone. They'd always say Ben Laden. I always remember him from like Danes videos, and he's so fucking gnarly. And then he turned up one day, and there's this dude, like, beard, hair combed to the side, and like, "Oh, you're right." Like, sorry for ruining the accent, but like super happy. And I was like, "Who the fuck's this guy?" And he's like, "Ben Laden." I'm like, "I did not imagine you to be this over the top hyped dude," because the footage of him at that park, he makes it look skateable.
Yeah,
but I don't.
It's not like
I've never been to it, but I know everyone's like, it's not skatable.
Like Ben, Stu Graham. Like,
was it Stu that did the nose blunt slide across it, or was that Leyden?
Div
over the big
Div as well, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, nose blunt slide. Yeah, it is Div. It's filmed long lens, isn't it? And
yeah.
Grant Taylor could skate Livy. Bob Burnquist could skate Livy.
But there's not many people who can go to Livy and not be a local and be like, "Hey, I can handle this." Like,
there's not even many locals. I mean, Benson you've got to mention as well.
Yeah,
but there's not a lot of people in the world. John Cardale's favourite park, or it was when he was asked 20 years ago.
Wow,
makes sense.
Because the anti-hero team were there last year sometime, weren't they? And Grant Taylor absolutely fucked that bowl. Like, absolutely fucking killed it. What were we getting onto before?
We were actually going into super early days. So when Forde contacted me and he was like, "Do you want to talk to Neil?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. I need to research stuff really, really quickly." And like, I came across your Slam interview, and there was a picture of you as a kid stood there with, I think it was some Airwalk Fahrenheits with the green and the black and the orange on them.
That was my mate.
That's your buddy, is it?
I had the canvas Airwalks, unfortunately. He had the good ones. He had the Lance mountain boards, the fresh
Doughboy
board.
One. Yeah,
I had the Grosso mushroom board from the Devil mushroom from probably a year previously.
Yeah, because that was about 1990, that picture taken?
89, I would think.
Right, yeah.
Probably. But certainly the era when you're getting a pair of shoes for your birthday and a board for your Christmas.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, and they have to last. It's one or the other.
The whole year, yeah.
But boards did last a year back then. When you're 11 years old and they're that thick.
Yeah. And it wasn't long before you hit the early 90s recession, and then we were all like sanding boards down again, like reshaping them.
Focusing them.
That was just a bit later, wasn't it? That was kind of when Plan B came in and everything. And
I think it started in Rubbish Heap with Jeremy Klein focusing Rodney's freestyle board.
Yeah, it was meant to be like the Rocco conspiracy, wasn't it? That if the cool guys are doing it, people are going to focus their boards more, and they in turn buy more boards.
Well,
he knew.
If you want to focus a 1990 board, you going to hurt yourself. If you
Yeah.
were to
Bring
focus
some
one
mates.
from 92,
Yeah.
93, straight through that matchstick.
Totally.
Yeah.
I remember breaking a board and the truck going through the wood. It
Wow,
didn't even
all the way
like
through.
break in the middle or the nose break off. The 4 truck bolt holes popped up and the truck came through.
Wow.
That would have been a early 90s world boards. But man, yeah.
They were up to all sorts of tricks then, weren't they? Like they were putting new graphics over old stock and stuff like that. And then I'm sure that do you remember that Plan B Pat Duffy, which was done like a golden ticket? And then if you scratched off the graphics, like it would be like an old Danny Way board, or it's like numerous
totally.
different boards.
Yeah.
And it was kind of marketed as being like this, you could win, I don't know, some kind of prize. I can't remember what it was. But like
It's a
that was
trip
just-
around the world warehouse.
Was it?
Trolley dash.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. But like it was like pretty cunning way to just get rid of all your old stock.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And there are pros that I've spoken to that have never seen graphics of theirs. They just didn't know that ever got made.
So cycling them through so fast.
Yeah.
So that's when it changed from being like a graphic a year, like a Natus Panther that's going to be around for like a year, 18 months and be iconic.
40 years.
Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, I suppose it was kind of under Rocco and New Deal and stuff like that. Suddenly you had like every 6 weeks there was a new board graphic and it was cycling through so fast.
Definitely the world brands. Yeah, it was just as soon as somebody has an idea,
Yeah.
just get that on a board.
Yeah.
Like Sean Cliver and Mark McKee just churning stuff out. And it's like, that's perfect, right? Get that out there. And that just kept happening.
Yeah. And then there's some that are just like unreissuable because of just like the IP, like all the Disney kind of style stuff and everything. You could get away with them because there's like this many skateboarders. And now, like...
Yeah,
I
and
think
by
that'd
the
be a
time
different
the
deal.
cease and desist lands on the desk, it's
Yeah.
like, we're on to the next thing. This
It's
is
all gone.
Yeah, stock's gone.
that was weeks ago, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of reasons why boards can't get reissued. That's one of the more wholesome reasons.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, really? Because like I get into all this kind of like, oh, it'd be great to see that board again. And then the company's like, well, we'd have to remake the graphics. It doesn't exist anymore. It's long gone. The artist isn't into reproducing it, so we'd have to get someone else to do it. The pro has changed religion and doesn't want to do anything anymore. Like there's so many reasons, isn't there, why a board can't happen. So when you get those collections of reissues, like they've actually jumped through a lot of different hoops.
Yeah, it's what I kind of do in my day job now at
Yeah.
Sidewalk Distribution. It's everything that you mentioned there. It's making sure the original artist is happy, getting it redrawn if necessary, making sure the rider is on board crucially, because
Yeah.
there's reissues of all sorts of things everywhere. But what we're doing is hopefully as legit as it can be by having the involvement of the riders and the storytelling, literally the stories that can be told behind why this thing existed in the first place and what was going on when it happened. Steve Rocco works with us. He brought in Mike V. So Steve Rocco and Mike V are back together now
Wow.
under Sidewalk.
Yeah.
And through them and Steve Douglas and Bod Boyle, you've kind of got a direct line to everybody in the industry ever.
Yeah.
And if you want to do something like with the 101 line that I did, I mean, I did this speculatively. It was just like, oh, here's my dream 101 lineup. And it was just like, all right, well, Natus has approved it. We need to get Dill and Gino.
Okay.
And it's like, what? Wait, really? And then it's like, yeah, sure, Dill's in, Gino's in. Let's go. We need to find the sizes for these.
Wow.
Clyde's in. Of course, Clyde was all about it.
Yeah.
And that's coming out pretty soon.
Any sign of was Adam McNatt one of the riders back then?
He was, yeah. I mean, his stuff, his 101 Balloons board has been reissued already. That came out
Yeah.
under Dwindle. Dwindle did a few.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That blue one?
Yeah.
I
Markovich had a
remember.
few as well, didn't he?
The early one's been out.
Yeah.
The Natus Devil, obviously.
Yeah.
Gabriel's Jesus H.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Driller Killer, just that whole lot of sort of 91
Yeah.
boards are, they're out there. But
There's definitely a seam of like to be dug into with the 92, 93 kind
no,
of
totally. I mean, that's it. Like,
issues.
much as we're saying that boards barely stuck around then, the
Yeah.
ones that we all remember.
Yeah.
And basically the boards that had ads or the boards
Mm-hmm.
that were in iconic photos.
Yeah.
totally stuck in your mind. And from doing Science versus Life on Instagram, obviously it's my taste to only posting stuff that I like. But then when people are like, oh, that board, it's like, yeah, that board, totally.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of good to know that there's a lot of people that agree with what I like. I don't know.
Well, I think it's what we were talking about, like off camera, the difference between back then when you had streamlined information coming at you from a few videos and magazines versus now where you've got Instagram and your own personalized algorithm, which is going to feed you like kind of like micro what's the word?
What was the word?
It's not a microculture. It's like you basically.
I thought you were saying like a new like micro industry kind of thing almost, but I can't remember how you described it.
Yeah, but it's separating. Everyone's got their own little thing going on now. But back in the day, because you had so few sources of information, those pictures that you're putting up on Science versus Life, almost everyone saw who was into skating.
Yeah.
There was no avoiding it. That was where it got. So all of it just gets stuck in the mind of those people. So you have like a real common culture, and like you and I, we've never met before. We will know all the same boards.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, oh, well, there's the day one board with the T-Rex on with the cartoon dinosaurs underneath, stuff like that. Like everyone knows those boards.
And you would have stuff on your wall. You wouldn't just skim past it.
Yeah.
You would look at that thing. You're falling asleep looking at this sequence or whatever it was, and it just would be seared in your brain. And
you're right, yeah. So there's like a permanence there, isn't there? Because that poster's been on your wall for like a couple of years. You've seen it every day. It's burnt into your mind with like a Sidewalk or a Rad poster with like Colin Kennedy doing like a kickflip at Livy or something like that. Everyone from that area will remember that poster. I suppose, do kids have posters and stuff up on their walls these days, or are they just kind of like...
I think it still exists, but not to the capacity of even when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because at my mum's, it was like every part of the wall was a poster. If it was like music, skateboarding, or even sometimes BMX, like some BMX stuff, it was like every square foot of the wall was covered in like a magazine, like actually cutting them out of the magazines, the sequences, and putting them up, which obviously I regret some of that now because I had some well good magazines. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's as much as a thing now.
Maybe
there was
not.
I think parents are like, you can't damage the walls.
I feel like a lot of that kind of started dying out fully by like 2010.
Yeah.
I feel that was sort of like the end of that.
So then instead
it's like
of having
a little pop culture in itself is those magazines and everything, you know what I mean? And putting them on your wall.
Instead of having like a permanent thing on your wall that you're seeing every day, it's like a transient thing now. You're seeing newness every single day.
Every second.
Second.
I mean, when we had 2 magazines a month or 4 magazines a month, if you got the US mags, then you would look at every page and then you'd go back to the beginning and you'd do it again.
Yeah.
Like that was your view of skateboarding. When videos were £30 and they were hard to get, you would chip in, everybody in town putting a quid in for public domain, as we did, and it would just get shared round. You'd have to hope you'd get your turn of it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, just like, what type of skateboarding do you want to watch? Who do you want to see doing it? Where would you rather see they were doing it? What do you want them to be wearing? And you just find it.
Yeah.
Rather than, it's like, right, so this is what skateboarding is.
So, talking about mags, stuff like that, when you started, there would have been Rad, Skateboard, and Skate Action, right?
My first magazine was Skate Action.
I was going to ask
Skate Action.
Issue 1 of Skate Action.
I was going to ask what your first magazine was that you bought.
Yeah.
That was the next question.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember if I worked if I had a paper round by that point. I don't think so. But I got a paper round pretty soon after, which meant that I could acquire all the magazines.
So did you get all 3?
Yeah. And all the music magazines and the Face and ID, like, because it looked cool, like these mad looking people in these amazing clothes. It was, and if they're basically free, then I'm having that.
Yeah.
And magazines then were surely more eye opening now than any social media. They didn't have the kind of agenda that social media creators have. It was
Yeah.
just like reportage. It was, here's what's going on, here's this cool thing we found.
Here's what's
Rather-
rad.
Yeah,
That's
here's
all
what's
it was,
actually
and
good.
I think that's like so key these days. That is missing is all it needs to be about is it exciting? Is it rad? It's in. There's so much more signaling of like trying to push people into thinking in different ways and stuff like that now. And I think it'd be kind of nice if like the kids were just kind of left to make those decisions for themselves and just experience awesome skating.
Yeah, it's great that I guess kids can find their tribe now
Yeah,
easily, but I quite liked that it was hard to do that.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, not a massive struggle, but there was effort required. You had to physically go somewhere
Yeah.
to engage with the people who were interested in the same things as you. You had to, if you wanted to go skateboarding, you had to hope it was going to be dry and not windy,
Yeah.
and that at least one of your mates was going to be available.
There was some serious adversity, like, and you had to the skate park wasn't like just round the next corner. You're going to skate in the back of like a co-op car park for like several years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a bus stop, I remember skating a bus stop, just pushing off one side of it, doing the trick, I think it was kickflip at the time, trying to learn a kickflip and then crashing into the other side.
Yeah.
Turning around and just pushing, not even one push, just pushing yourself with your hands, just to this like tiny little bit, like 6 foot by 2 foot bit of dry-ish ground.
It definitely teaches you so much tenacity, and that's probably where it ultimately ends up in like, you've then brought those skills forward to like make this book, you know, that's like 6 years worth of effort.
And
And it
saying we
kind
had
of
to,
roots down to the tenacity of like, just, I'm going to go back and forth in this bus stop and learn my tricks.
and we had to walk uphill to school in the snow in our bare feet.
Wow.
No, that Monty Python joke, no.
I'm missing that one. No, I
no,
haven't
right.
seen that.
Cut that out. But yeah, to that point, yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe those of us of a certain generation, I can't say that. I was going to say, like, we know what real work is. But nah, not at all.
It was just different. It was easier in some ways, like, because you, like, if I think about my kids now, if they want to go skate, I've got to get them in the car, take them to like the local park or even a car park. Like, you can't just skate directly out your door because you're going to get run over.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it's like, whereas we could just skate around town like all day, like you had so much freedom at such a young age. And I don't know if kids are able to do that as easily these days.
You would still get told to beat it, though. You'd still get told,
100%.
stop banging about outside my house or place of work or whatever.
Yeah, definitely got used to confrontation.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. Even me growing up, it didn't seem like there was as many cars on the road. Things were quieter.
Yeah.
It was like each family had one car, and now it's like the mum, the dad, the daughter, and the sons all got a car. So everything seems to be busier, especially over the weekend. Like, I was just on the cusp of like Sunday being quiet because Sunday trade was like slow.
Sunday.
So this was like 2001, 2002. It was still kind of slow, but then you talk to you guys and Toby, and it was like Sundays used to be closed, and you didn't get any shit.
Sundays was ghost
whatsoever.
time, wasn't it? So you could
Everywhere
just
was
like
everywhere would be shut.
yeah. So you could skate.
You just have like a
wherever
pub
you liked.
open or something, and there'd be an old boy
You'd be
shouting.
lucky if
at
there
you.
would be like a newsagent's open to get a can of
That's
Coke.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even pubs would shut for a few hours in the afternoon.
Yeah.
As well, I'm sure. But when retail parks, out of town retail parks started to become a thing, that was kind of round about the time when the Back to the Future generation started passing their driving test and borrowing their mum's car.
Yeah.
And all these huge retail parks would get built, like, oh, this is the glittering future of commerce. But the units didn't all get filled, not for a long time. And they're emptying out again now, of course. So that was somewhere else you could go.
Yeah.
You could just drive to this out-of-town place and there'd be a Comet or something, or a Dixon's. And then all these just empty units with benches outside and curbs and curb islands, and those places were great too.
They're amazing. They're still kind of, it's funny because they feel like a really permanent thing, but they are still like transient. Like my favourite manual pad in Nottingham was recently covered over by a Costa, just over it. It's just the worst.
Oh, I bet you're livid, aren't you?
I was gutted.
You will never go to that Costa in your life.
I didn't want a rubbish Costa anyway.
You will never go to that Costa in your life. But yeah, growing up with, you know, magazines, etc. What was the like first magazine you like took interest in writing for? Like where did that come into it, and how soon after? If I'm missing a bunch of years between, then do fill that in. But
I think Rad Magazine and Transworld at the time felt like they complemented each other. Whether they were looking at what each other were doing, I don't know. Probably not. But
well, they probably were, but they were
but
probably
not
looking at it 6 months later, because you wouldn't get the magazine
Right.
for 6 months.
No, exactly.
I mean, I didn't have to deal with that, but having people on, I think you said the same thing. It's like you'll get like a Transworld in like August, it came out in Jan, and you're like, oh, we've got it now, but it's months too late.
Yeah, and they do that weird thing in the States where they seem to forward date the magazines by like
3 months.
I don't
Yeah.
understand that at all.
No, totally. Maybe that's so it feels a bit newer by the
Yeah.
time it gets here. Yeah, Steve Douglas doing the American news page in Rad, that news would come out before Transworld or Thrasher had got that news out, because he would fax it over the day before it went to print, and then Tim Leighton Boyce would put it out, and like we would know who's just got sponsored by Gullwing in Carlsbad or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't massively relevant to what we were doing, but it was, you felt privy to this kind of US news. But yeah, Transworld, sort of David Carson era, when they had Neil Blender and GSD writing for them, just that's the golden age of skate mags. And yeah, at the same time, what TLB was doing with Rad Magazine, and having people like Simon Evans, not that there are many people like Simon Evans and Gavin Hills write for that magazine, and Curtis, it's like these people are like me in ways. I mean, I'm not as good at skateboarding as them, but here's people who are sort of insecure and don't really know where they fit in real society, and they're writing for this magazine, and I can relate to that. That makes me feel better about what I'm doing. It makes me like these people more.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't just these superstars having an amazing life. And yeah, I mean, Gavin Hill's just, I never actively wanted to write for a skateboard magazine, but I cared a lot about what was in skateboard magazines, I think, because of how good Gavin was as a writer. There was a World Industries box set review in Sidewalk magazine, I think it might have been Rye, and it wasn't, I love Rye, obviously, but it wasn't to my taste. I didn't think they'd described the significance of those videos.
Was that when they did the big box set with all the videos in it?
Yeah, the front looked like a world ad, and it was like, and Roller Snakes were doing them for like £3.
I was just about to say, I remember they first came out, they were like 20 something, and then there was an offer on, and it was like, buy this, get this video for like 3 or something quid, and this was like, what, 10 or so years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, maybe somewhere in between that,
I remember they had loads of them.
Oh, I mean,
even I bought them from the shop in Leicester. I was like, £3 I don't know what these videos are, but I was probably like 14.
Some serious history.
At least you did. Yeah, I think.
And they got smiley faces on the discs, I think.
The globe, the World Globe.
Yeah, I can remember it back to front.
I had been getting them for free with purchases from Roller Snakes, and then it's like £3. It's just like, I'll have 5, please. Just like giving them out to people like Tom Shemin or Andy White or whoever. Just like, watch this. You go away and watch this. But yeah, emailed Sidewalk, not even, to the letters page or anything, just emailed saying, yeah, this isn't as good as it could be, or words to that effect. And it went in a star letter, and I got a pair of triple blue DC links in a size too small, and Ben Powell saying, all right, if you think you can do it, go on then. So I did the DVD reviews for a while, and then answered the letters and interviewed skateboarders about music, and then interviewed musicians. And it turns out, when you tell a musician that it's for a skate mag, they're a lot more interested than if it was for a music magazine. So hence getting...
Why is that?
They maybe think it's going to be different questions or something, or maybe
a bit more relaxed, a bit more open and fun.
Or maybe they think, oh, here's an untapped audience that don't know about me.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time it is like they're bored of asking the same questions. Like Fugazi would never do interviews with the music press, and that same with Ian Mackay latterly with the Evens. And I think I just emailed Discord to see if he would be up for an interview. And he's like, yeah, I came up skateboarding, let's go. And that ended up so big, it went over 2 issues. It was a really good one. Like Jay Mascis was good fun.
Yeah.
He's not this sort of sleepy, boring guy. He's a good laugh and he's sharp.
That his music would make you think that he was.
I think it's
boring.
and the interviews that he's done as well. Like I think a lot of the time people do ask him about him being sleepy and mellow and all this stuff, but talking to him about Alien Workshop and Neil Blender and Ohio and golf and all this stuff, he was chatting away. It's great.
So Dinosaur Jr., how many songs do you reckon he's had in skate videos?
Wow.
So many.
He's got to be one of the highest artists.
Yeah.
Along with like your typical who you'd expect kind of post-punk bands, I think.
I'm trying to think of.
But if I think of Alien, I think of Dinosaur Jr. Then the last Mindfield video, like Animal Collective, because they were pretty heavy. But I think Alien were really good at like finding an artist that really suited their videos, and that's when I do think of even in the latest video, like Omar Salazar skates to the 2 Dinosaur Jr. songs.
Yeah, well,
I mean, Jay Mascis wrote Little Ethnic Song for Memory Screen, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's friends with Neil Blender.
Mm-hmm.
Was it first memory I think I have of Dinosaur Jr. was maybe a first Plan B video or something like that? Does that sound right?
I don't think there's a dinosaur tune in that. You might be thinking of Ned's Atomic Dustbin.
Yeah, maybe. Nah, that's weird. I don't know. I'm misremembering. It's like a long time ago. That's bad.
But yeah, they were an absolute go-to for your video that you're making.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How long was you writing for Sidewalk for? And at the time, did you start writing for anyone else? Because you've obviously done stuff for like, I know they came later, but like Free, Grey, North, stuff like that. What's the timeline there with writing for skateboarding publications?
I think Free and Grey, which were both a total pleasure to write for, were one-offs or 2-offs or 3-offs. North, I did a feature interview every issue for quite a while, basically until this took over everything, and that would have been alongside doing Sidewalk, I think. But then I did quite a lot of stuff for Slam as well, for the Slam website. Some of my kind of favourite ones were that as well, because it was never...
Oh, and that's what some of your favourite interviews
over
the years that you've done were.
Tony Hawk, undeniably. He's
obviously
just a good laugh.
Yeah.
And
he's always so fucking keen as well. Like he's so keen. He's just proper skateboarder.
Oh, so much.
He's a real professional as well.
You could literally just like, we could create a blog today and be like, can we interview you for this? And he will do it. He's not like he's looking at it like, what are your analytics? What are your figures? What are your listeners? Like if he was
Send it to my agent.
If he was in the country and had a free day, he'd fully just he'd just
100%.
come over and just sit there and just talk shit.
And he'd tell you all about that time he was in Derby and what he remembers when he passed through or when he was in Nottingham or anything. Jake Sawyer, who I had been doing these with at Slam and I'm great friends with, him and I were talking about who we would want and just kind of think, wouldn't it be funny if you just DM'd Tony Hawk and he read it? That'd be cool. And so DM Tony Hawk. Hey, Tony fancied an interview for Slam City in the UK. Just like straight away read, typing, whatever. And then it's like, yeah, sure. How do you want to do it? It's like,
you get
do it in Skype. Then we ended up going in twice. Like we did it, and then he's like, yeah, if you want to get some more, just hit me up, and we did. So it's just great big interview. But yeah, I mean, he just loves talking about skateboarding as much as everybody thinks he's this, like, I don't know, business guy or something, but it's all about skateboarding.
But maybe he is to that degree. I mean, look at his career. He's had to have been that guy, but he's also went from like the extreme high to the low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he understands it and he understands people this big in the industry or this big. Like he obviously gets it. I know that I've spoke about it a lot and I feel like I should be proud talking about it because I 100% am. And Toby's always like, always makes a joke about it. But waking up, Hawks followed me on Instagram. And then I DM'd him and I was like, is this a mistake? Like, did you mean to? And he was like, no, I saw this trick and I really like, and we started talking. And then I was like, hey, I'm doing a video. Do you want to be involved? He was like, yeah, just come to LA and we'll go skate. And I didn't get the chance to go because it was like, he was in the country here for like one day or something. I hit him up and then he had to go back. And then I was in Massachusetts. And then the time that we arranged to meet up, he had something else to do. Because it's like, if you've got, I could imagine, if he's got 2 days free and he's like, yeah, we'll skate here. Then someone from ABC News is like, I understand the priorities. And then he DM'd me and he was like, hey, because we've not met up, he was like, do you mind if I contribute to your video? And I was like,
wow.
I was like, you could literally just message me and be like, I'm being in your video. And I'm going to be like, obviously. But he's like, do you mind if I film some
Tony,
tricks?
you're 2 days late, mate.
Yeah. And then he was like, if you can sort a filmer out, and obviously like Belgun Gary, he's like a filmer.
Yeah.
And he's got just happens that he's got the exact same camera. So I just messaged him and I was like, I know this is a long shot. It was almost easy to get Hawk to agree. Yeah. I really had to like sweeten up Belgun Gary.
The film
because he's got to go there with his camera, film it for free. And I was like, look, I'll pay you for your time. And he was like, no, I just to film Hawk and give it to someone for their video. And then he went out filming. We went to Hawk's ramp because Hawk were like, do you want me to do something new or just something fun? I was like, just keep it easy and just have something fun.
Yeah, you don't want to be responsible for the next.
You're directing Tony Hawk.
and I can't remember who I was talking to around when the vid came out, but they were like, when do you think Hawk was last in a British video? And I was like, I have no idea. Unless it was like a montage or something or some...
Probably a Roller Snakes video.
Yeah.
On a Bones Brigade tour.
I think...
so I was pretty fucking blown away.
I think Adio would have put out when they did the tour,
like
and they came over here,
tour, like 2004, 3?
Something like that, and they came here. I think they filmed... They would have... Yeah, Tony was in that because he was skating the vert ramps, and I think they made it into like a little tour video or something like that, but... I can't think of anything since then.
What I mean.
So you're talking like 23 years.
And it's so not only an honour to have Hawk in it, but at the same time, like me and Sean talk about, he's just a proper skate nerd. Mm-hmm. I think you could hit him up anywhere in the world, and maybe more people should, and they haven't because they think it's Tony Hawk. He's like untouchable.
Definitely.
But like,
it's normal.
I'd just DM him like, "What are you doing today?" And he's like, "I'm at the F1." And then I was with Andy Mack, and he sent me a message. He was like, "Can you tell Andy to pick this up?" And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I've got Hawk here, Andy Mack here, and I'm like, Andy, Hawk wants you to pick up a bottle of whiskey, and he's like, fuck, dude, that's like $600. And it's just like, it was a wild time. And that's one of the guys I'm going to go visit when I go to LA. Where did Science vs. Life come from? It's inception. What made you want to do it? Where was it born? It could be a massive answer.
Yeah, did you say you started it during like furlough?
No, that started this during furlough.
Right.
So what the Science vs. Life, when was it born, and the reason behind the name as well, because it's a great interesting name that I've always been like, Science vs. Life.
The name is, I'll explain the name before I explain where it came from. The name is from a Buck 65 tune called 15 Minutes to Live, which is like it's 15 minutes long. It's a kind of list song. Mm-hmm. And that was in the credits of a viewfinder that Ben Powell had put that music into this like 15-minute as credits were.
Big up Ben, big up John Cattle.
Yeah, Viewfinder was ace.
I once watched Viewfinder like 1 to 4 just in one night, and then I realised I'd been there for like 17 years because it's that long.
You've got them all there, haven't you?
Yeah. I've got them all at my house as well.
I had to send Ben a message last week actually because like something came to mind to do with like Viewfinder, and it was when Roller Snakes asked me to do that Icon instructional video, and I had done a really, really poor quality advert, right? And I had misspelt how to do a manual roll, and I'd written Manuel, and like Ben had got in touch with me and said, I've corrected it for you. And I was like, super young. I was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, like didn't pay any attention to it. But like he fully like saved me from looking like an absolute fool. But my favorite thing is now we call manuals Manuels all the time. But that's to be like
the evolution of language. The name, I was slightly concerned during lockdown. People might think it was some sort of anti-medicine, anti-progression statement, but absolutely not at all. If you listen to the tune, that's not what it is. That track also features the line, "I'm not a pack rat, I'm an archivist," which I think, I could use that in perfect. Some kind of academic context, maybe somehow. Maybe this is me doing it here. I started when my parents died in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and cleared out their house. Died really close to each other. Cleared out the house, and I had all my mags up from when I started to the point where I moved out. And when I moved out, I'd still bought every mag. So I had these sort of two collections of most of the skateboard
So
magazines.
you got a really thorough collection.
From that period. Yeah, well, I kept them all in boxes. They weren't really in order, and some were a bit tatty. But, when you put them together, actually, this is fairly comprehensive collection of skate mags here. And Kevin Marks, Look Back Library, massive shout out. Kevin, he helped me fill in a lot of the gaps. There were US mags he was looking for, things that I had duplicates of, so we did a bit of swapping. I got a lot of slaps that I'd missed from when Tower Records in Glasgow had shut down, then a lot of like the skateboard mag from when Borders in Glasgow had shut down. I just couldn't get these things. So yeah, pretty complete collection of Transworld, Power Edge, Big Brother, Rad, Skateboard, Skate Action, 70s Skateboard, Slap, and possibly some others that I'm missing. I don't have a full set of Thrasher, missing a couple of issues from the first year, from 1981 of Thrasher, the large format ones. Wow. So I guess they were quite hard to keep. Yeah. Cubic helped me out with, shout out Cubic for everything.
Yeah. Does it weird either of you out that I have never held a Big Brother magazine in my hands?
It just makes me sad.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
it. Was
one.
like, it's stuff like,
they're not just going to pop up,
No, and big stuff like Big Brother, they did some bad stuff, but they did some really good stuff.
Pre-Dave Carney, it was the best magazine that has ever been, probably. When it was Sean Cliver, right, and Errol Parker, it was pretty close to perfect. But then Dave Carney came in and it got a bit silly, and it got juvenile. Like, people think it was stupid, and it was... I don't want to put my foot in it here, but people level all these accusations at it who possibly haven't really read it and understood where they were coming from and what they were doing. It wasn't like negative. It was very tongue-in-cheek, and it's like Chris Morris humour, not the same kind of school of humour, but if you're offended by this, you don't get the statement that's been made here. I don't think you understand the content here enough to comment on it, so get out of here. The other skate mags, they're certainly, I think Thrasher was like pretty patronising at the time, just like, if you're feeling sad, or go skate and destroy. It's like, it's not that simple. But Big Brother, again, it was like Simon Evans, Gavin Hill's thing. It was like, hey, young men are insecure. Young men aren't, it's not all bravado. And certainly in skateboard, in this outsider culture, there's a lot to kind of process as being part of this. It's a lot of work. It's probably harder to exist socially as a skateboarder than it is if you play five-a-side football or something like that.
Without a doubt, it definitely back in the day affected your ability to get the girls. It was not a bonus. And then if you play football, it's swapped around now, but like, god damn, that made it like a little bit harder, didn't it?
We're batting them off now.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
There's a queue outside the brain drain office.
I know. I hope that's not the audio's not picking that up.
They're banging the door down to get in there. Is Neil Macdonald in there?
I know. They follow me. It was interesting though, like from skateboarding just being laughed at, getting stones thrown at you in the street, to suddenly spotting the guys wearing DCs. What?
That was like a weird turnaround, wasn't it? It took some adjusting as well.
Because you used to be able to spot a skateboarder at one point.
Not only could you spot them, but like the problem was the general public could spot us at a mile off, because we'd have like a huge stripy t-shirt on, like kind of weird jort massive things like fucked light shorts, big wide flat brim hat that was probably too big for you, and you looked goofy, and people were like, what is that? What is that person? There's so few of you dressed like that as well, because you've imported that look from California. There's maybe 5 of you in the town. You're going to come in for some abuse and some piss taking pretty hard.
It's important to mention on that Simon Evans from Morden, who had his yellow outfit cover of Rad November 92, that interview, brilliant skateboarder, writer for Rad Magazine as well, now a very successful artist in New York, who he told me his most exciting thing that happened in his life was when he got an order for one of his pieces of art from a guy called Mark Gonzalez.
Wow,
Gons is buying your art.
That's amazing.
That stoked him out. But he was the first person to skate in Gazelles. I'm going to
Was he? Yeah, I mean, like,
pretty
wow.
certain with all the people I've spoken to
Yeah.
in this.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Waterman, who would certainly know. Simon wasn't so quick to acknowledge it because of how he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell and everybody that was around Simon at the time is like, yeah, he just turned up one day wearing those shoes and we wanted them.
And then we all wanted
Yeah,
them.
well, and Simon was sick of looking like a skateboarder. He didn't want to be wearing Airwalker Vision. He didn't want to look like this part of this culture that he was increasingly becoming alienated with.
Yeah.
So he dressed differently. He found these shoes in some old back room of some dusty sports shop in,
that was it,
in Morden, because they had been like a terrace shoe. But by 91, 92, everybody's wearing Air Max and like big puffy technical, sport shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that,
And these
that
things were-
Shipman rad cover, I think, is in. It's in Chesterfield. Is he ollieing over
A
like
red
a flat-
rail.
He's in Gazelles in that, and I think he was skating for Etnies at the time. So I'm sure he said to me, "He's like, I got proper bollocking. I got bollocking for that."
Yeah, you're gonna go.
And I'm sure he's in Gazelles in it, and it's in Chesney. It's fisheye, shot low down. He's ollieing over the rail.
He's wearing a pair of Adidas hiking boots in that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, not Terex.
I
Terex
thought
didn't
he
exist
was-
at the time. But yeah, it's some.
I thought he was in Gazelles in that.
Those Gazelles that we're talking about from like the early 90s phase, like you were saying, because like all the Air Max 90s had come out, like nobody wanted them, so they were literally in these baskets outside the front of these shoe stores in towns, and that's where we'd go fishing through.
And they were
Yeah.
$1.99. I think in London they were like $4.99, but
so
they were like
so cheap,
$1.99 or
weren't they?
$2.99.
Yeah.
But then then Paul Shire got into them, and Simon and Ed Loftus went to Embarcadero, met all those guys. Like Paul Shire had been back and forward as well.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get them because Adidas German thing, so they hadn't moved, they hadn't gone all the way to SF, but we could
Right.
still get them in the UK. Then of course they start hooking those guys up.
Yeah.
They film a video called Love Child. The Beastie Boys put out a record called Check Your Head. They're wearing Campus in the cover of that. And then next thing, Madonna's touring wearing these things, and they're just everywhere. You'll remember they disappeared. It's like we bought them all up because they
were
would
gone.
last a week.
Yeah.
You'd buy another pair.
Yeah.
And then they'd all gone, and then they came back. But they were like 50 or 60 quid because the shoe companies had finally clocked it. But by that point, the skate shoe companies were making something similar enough anyway.
Yeah, well, like
what ones?
Etnies brought out the low cut with the stripes on the side, and then they had to take the stripes off and everything.
You would pull that stuff off anyway, though, wouldn't you? You'd de-stitch it and pull it off because that was the cool thing to do.
Yeah. That's insane. So it wasn't just that like the likes of like Carl Shipman, Tom Penny, and all those guys were wearing it. It came from
started
here to the States and then went mainstream sometime later. But that's insane that all came from here.
Basically Simon Evans, and Paul Shire facilitating it and he's high up at Adidas now.
There's
and
so many photos.
rightly so, because he helped change the direction of that shoe company, like Jeff Rowley changed the direction of Vans by insisting that they make a canvas vulcanized shoe in 1999.
Yeah.
And they'd said to him, no, we don't do that. And he said, well, that's what I want. And they said, all right, well, we'll do two seasons of that, and then we'll get back to the real shoes.
Yeah.
And of course,
change the direction of skate footwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a guy from Egberth in Liverpool and a guy from Morden, south of London, changing global culture, not just even footwear fashion, but that things changed the way that people kind of live their lives now.
It is weird how there's like the UK is such a small part of the skate scene, but it is really influential. And then a lot of the guys who are working over in the States who help establish a lot of the companies and own a lot of the companies, they're from the UK as well. There's something going on there where I think maybe it's that fire. Once you're over there, you want to make it work.
Steb Palmer was making things work here from when Sumo opened in '93. Like
I was just about to bring up, Seb, sorry to cut you off there, but about the New Balance skate program. The shoes are so good that the non-New Balance skate programs want those styles, but from what I heard, he's like, no, this is ours.
Oh, amazing. Yeah,
like,
great.
These are our skate styles. This is part of our line. You can't have them.
Well, I think that's
they're
really
obviously
important for skate stores, to be honest, because the big problem that they have is if you have all these sportswear brands, which is increasingly dominant, if you have almost exactly the same stuff available, but like not the SB version
It's in a running
another
shoe,
store,
it's in-
then how are the skate stores going to differentiate themselves enough to sell them? So if New Balance are actually making distinct shoes,
Yeah.
that's really good and really important.
The 480 exists as, I mean, there's a few of the shoes do exist as a non-skate and a skate version.
Yeah.
I did a 480 for the book. There's a New Balance shoe coming out alongside the book, which just, I think, says so much about how Seb and Mackie and Baines and all those guys care about skateboarding.
Yeah,
Like
they've done an
they
amazing job.
want
of
that to
supporting the scene.
happen, and they're not really going to benefit from it. They're certainly, it's going to cost them money.
Yeah,
And just for the sake of wanting this thing to exist, allowing it to happen, the way that Seb did with the various versions of sumo, iterations of the sumo shop that he had, and like Mackie did with Lost Art through the years, these are guys that just want the scene to flourish, and anything they can do to help it. Even from Seb's time at Nike, it was all about skateboarders and skateboarding. It just never felt like those guys were working on spreadsheets and, you know, forecasts and everything like that. It was just, I'm sure they are, because they're top of the game, but it's like, it just feels so rad what they do. Anyway.
We strayed off a little bit, but we're talking about the birth of the Science Verse life and the inception of where that came from.
I got all those magazines together in my flat, and you know, people would come around and just be like, "Oh, hey, look, check this out." But, all right, yeah, cool. No, but hold on, do you like that? Look at this. And then I started a Tumblr, so I could do that to 10 people rather than to 2 people.
Tumblr was like the next progressive step from like a blogspot.com.
I think so.
I remember that because we all had like blogspot.com, then there was like a Tumblr account, because that was just photo as well, wasn't it? But like in like a Facebook format or Instagram format almost.
It was more Instagram-y, yeah. It was the one that probably the top Google result when I searched for how to post pictures on the internet so that people can see them.
Because Flickr was just annoying bullshit. That
Yeah.
website. It was too unorganized. It was like messy everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be a member. You got to, Flickr was, I guess it's for pros, but I think it still exists, although I think it's riddled with adverts now. But yeah, Tumblr felt like the way, and it was easy enough to just scan stuff with an actual scanner and post these, and you would see how people had liked it or retumbled it or whatever it is. But it didn't really mean anything. I don't know how many people are on it. I don't think I knew if I had followers, and it didn't matter. It was just like, there's that photo of John Cardale. Now loads of people can see it if they search for John Cardale.
Yeah.
And then Instagram appeared, and I had my personal Instagram, but then it felt like, hang on. Because at the beginning, Instagram, even amongst your skate mates, it wasn't really skateboardy. It wasn't like a place for skateboarding. It was just a place for regular stuff, funny things.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't,
Well, it's actual just photos.
Yeah, it felt...
an alarming amount of pictures of people's meals. And
Here's a funny thing I've seen.
Horrific borders on them at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Highly
sepia filters.
saturated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do miss that kind of, that era. And when it was all time organized, so it actually felt like instant, like, oh, what's Nick been up to an hour ago? Oh, he's
Right.
here. You know what I mean? Whereas now I see stuff from like 9 days ago, 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, this is just mental bullshit.
Yeah. A new post popping up, and you can see that your mate is doing that thing, and that's interesting.
It's the whole
There's a
point
connection.
of the Insta.
Yeah.
Like, it's the instant.
And it didn't have ads.
Yeah. It should have been called like Instagraph, like instant gratification, because that's all it is, isn't it? When you're like, you film a clip on a camera and someone's like,
you could
can
get
you send
really
that to me?
You could get really boring about all those algorithms and stuff that goes on. But like, in the time that you've been doing Science versus Life, have you noticed a change in like the engagement and like how far your posts reach and stuff, or has it just been like a constant increase?
Nah, goes, if you don't post, you lose followers.
Yeah.
And if you post too much, you lose followers.
Yeah.
I'm not...
Then, okay, does that then affect how... Because you're doing it as a passion project.
I'm
posting as
I'm doing
you
it for maybe like 50 people who I could name that I want them to see these things.
You're doing it for that reason. So do you find that it has that thing where you go, oh, I didn't get as many likes on that, that post. Maybe I should change this, or maybe I should do that. Or are you just like completely like, you know, whatever algorithm, you do your thing, but I'm going to do mine?
Nah, because if you know that it has the algorithm or however it works, the mechanics of it, haven't pushed it to that many people, then I might think, shit, the guy who I kind of aimed that at, who I wanted to see this, because we'd been talking about that, probably hasn't seen it now. And the photographer who I've tagged and the skateboarder who I've tagged might feel bad that only 500 people have liked it. Whereas this previous post of something less interesting, less photographic merit, perhaps, it's got through the roof. And it means pretty much nothing who you're posting. Like, it could be an unseen photo of Guy Mariano from 1992, shot by Spike Jones. There's one of it or something, and it could just flop. You know, as an example, there's things that have been close to that I've posted that photographers have given me, and it just hasn't hit. And it's like, I'm really sorry. Like, people just didn't see that. But then my most liked post, and as you say, I'm not doing it for that, but you need to maintain some sort of schedule of posting and some sort of appeasing the algorithm. But the most liked thing was a photo of Avi in Skateboard Magazine skating a hip in Bolton, shot by Meanie, Ian Lawson, who's not a professional skateboard photographer anymore. He was a brilliant one. And that got 19,000 likes. And it had been seen by like 100,000 people or something. But then you could post something utterly brilliant that we know is one of the best photos ever, but this mechanic behind it, whether it's AI or whatever it is, just like, nah, don't think people want to see that. Next. And if you're not posting at certain times, like, it's something we do at Sidewalk as well with Jacuzzi and Opera and Madness, that you kind of have to, or you ought to, you might want to post regularly at certain times, certain types of content. But then, a week later, the algorithm changes and it doesn't want you to do that. If you could second guess it, you'd probably need to find something else to do with your life, but you would win, but it could never be done. It's just like, it's more and more frustrating.
Shifting goalposts, isn't it? And you just like, especially when it's something that's like a passion project, you're like, wait a sec. I mean, obviously with like the Sidewalk accounts, you need to make sure that they're hitting and everything. But like when it's like your own science versus life, you're just like, well, do I really want to be dictated to by an algorithm for what I put up?
I barely post now anyway. I'll post like once a week. And it's almost feels like a bit of a struggle too, because you just don't want to look at it. It's like, I don't remember following that. Oh, I didn't. It's an advert. It doesn't even say it's an advert anymore. And why do I care about a bathroom fitter or something like that? I mean,
you do wonder, like, when the algorithm's throwing so much at you now and drawing your attention to fewer and fewer things, and it loves all its rage bait, and you actually come out off looking at Instagram feeling a bit bummed out quite often.
Seriously.
Or like stressed out because you've seen something you didn't, whatever, that could you end up getting brought back to the like print magazines and stuff, because that can't throw up some kind of random thing
totally.
see.
Because that was one of the questions about how social media's changed actual skateboarding and physical media, and if we're actually just going to go back
to physical media.
We're just going to go back round, which I think we are. From, you spoke briefly about like working in a record shop and stuff. I do a lot of record collecting, and like actual tapes and CD sales are through the roof again. I think people are, everything, like Martin Kennelly says, everything becomes rare or popular in 5 years. It all just goes round. And I wonder if social media is going to do the same thing. People are going to start buying magazines again because they can't find a photo, but it's in this magazine.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I should say that anybody that's fed up with Instagram or any social media should read Jaron Lanier, who's a computer scientist who wrote, amongst other things, a book called 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media Accounts right now. It's not actually saying that you definitely should, but it's like, here's some things to think about. It's like, it knows how long you look at a photo for. So even if you really dislike it and you're looking at it because you're appalled by it, it's clocking that, and it will give you more stuff like that. Like, it wants you to be annoyed. Like, if you were happy looking at Instagram or Facebook, you would switch it off and go and do something more worthwhile.
Yeah.
But because it's rage bait, it's a thing. It's like if you're getting annoyed looking at this, you're engaging more, you're scrolling more, you're
Yep.
It's horrible. But Instagram was a massive tool in allowing me to do this because
So it's been a springboard. Like, so although it's shittified now, it wasn't like a few years ago, and you've developed.
yeah,
It's been a
So it's
stepping
like-
stone to where it's came to.
just
Yeah.
managed to
Yeah.
use it for perhaps its intended purpose to actually engage with people before it turned into what it is now. But yeah, seeing the people who followed me, who I followed, because you need to follow each other to actually see the messages, and think, I'm kind of in contact with a lot of the people that I would like to have in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd asked other people if they were likely to be thinking about making a book, and I'd asked Dan McGee and Pete Hellicar and Ben Powell, TLB, like, if I made a book, would you be in it? Would you talk to me for it? Because there's certain people, like, if they're not in it, there's just no
They're
point.
pretty key.
You
Yeah,
couldn't tell
definitely.
this story without Dan McGee.
Yeah.
He's it's without Wig's photos.
Yeah.
Wig's a mate anyway, but he's a professional photographer, and he might have plans for his archive. It was vital to have key people on. Then it was like, right, that's enough people that could make this book. And yeah, DMing Instagram DMs sort of let that happen, let those conversations begin. But then, of course, it's like there's more and more people. It's like, I need to speak to this guy and that guy. And he's told me I need to speak to this guy who I only heard of him, but turns out that he's the guy that's got all the stories about that thing.
Yeah.
Instagram DMs were a big help, basically to get people's phone numbers or their email addresses. But having everybody kind of in this enormous room, this digital conference centre for a while there, yeah, that helped a lot. I think half these people are probably not on Instagram anymore. They're over it, but
Yeah.
it for that moment in time, it helped.
Who was
Just
so go on.
what do you say?
I was just thinking, who was the hardest person to get hold of? Like,
Pwah. Tom Penny, probably, despite him being totally up for it, and Ian Deacon and Kevin Parrott just like, we'll sort it. Tom doesn't have a SIM card. He's got a phone, but he doesn't have a SIM card. He's got no connection, so he needs to use other people's phones.
right?
And, he's living his life.
Yeah.
But it got Tom, I think it was at Copenhagen, wherever Copenhagen was, like 2 years ago, because they moved it, didn't they? They had it some other city.
They had one in Berlin.
I think it might have been
1 year.
Berlin. And I think I was out, but at my local, like I don't go far. And Deacon texted, he's like, look, I've got Tom now. We're not doing anything for the next 45 minutes. Can you talk? So I ran home, just like straight on
Go,
FaceTime. And I couldn't get FaceTime on my desktop. So I had to, I think, record the audio with QuickTime on my desktop. So I'm not going to say like, dude, can we do it tomorrow, this time tomorrow? Yeah, nice. Just like, okay, let's go. And yeah, Tom was great. Like, when people read Tom in this, they won't believe it was Tom saying that, because people have got this idea of who he is and how he talks.
Of just like this man of very few words.
That's what people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd heard that there's like, he's actually,
No, he's mad clued on, Tom.
he's been way more talkative of late, maybe.
Okay, good.
That's what I'd heard.
If he enjoys the conversation, he's going to engage with it more. And I had all the stories from everybody around him that I could ask him about this stuff, and he was like right into remembering Abingdon and Oxford and everything that went on, SS20. He talks about how nervous he was going to Alex Moul's house, because Alex Moul had a ramp, and he's saying like, you're walking up his pathway and you're so scared because it's Alex Moul.
Yeah,
Alex Moul is a
such a huge
hero.
deal.
And Jeff Rowley talks about like, oh yeah, the first time I skated with Alex Moul, it's like, shout out Alex Moul. Alex did a theme tune for the book as well.
Oh, really?
He made a tune
rad.
that you can listen to right now.
I want to know when his they've got to reissue the Alex Moul Death Box deck, with the popcorn and the mole on it and stuff like that. Like, that still hasn't happened, and that's, I know Toby is desperate for that.
Yeah. If I was any better at skating, the one person I'd want to shoot a photo with was Wig,
Right.
because Wig's been like one of my favourite photographers. But then you look at all the TLB photos in rad magazines, like a fella called, what did we say his name was, like Tom Crago or something, I think he was, on Instagram. He sends us rad magazines, and like they're so much more engaging, those magazines, than magazines now. But
I think that
that's
goes back
because,
down to just they put the stuff in that was rad, not what should be in.
but like even like the old adverts for like shops, like the old Roller Snakes adverts, and looking at the product, I'm like, fucking hell, someone should do a magazine like this.
Or
now.
reading a list of the product as it was
Yeah,
at
it's
the
like,
time.
and
Yeah.
it's so good. You read through it and you're like, oh my God, Lee Ralph Vision Complete, £25. And it's like, that's so cheap. Well, then obviously you think about it relative to what money is now, it's probably not much cheaper.
Tony Kofi of Roller Mania, the Bristol shop, he, when everything changed overnight in 92, he was getting his guys to reshape all these boards.
Yeah.
And Patrick White, I think it was, had told me he used just like part of his job was to chop up these Jason Lee boards, these Natus boards, basically what I expect would be millions of pounds worth of skateboards
Now,
just to shave them down to make them into boards that people in 92 would tolerate.
Well, then I went to a store one time, and he told me that the same happened again in like that kind of like early 90s period, and like all those kind of boards that go for like $5,000 now, he just skipped a bunch because they were just
That's what I'm talking about,
unsellable.
yeah.
And you're just like, he was fascinating, dude. I think he said that he was at the ASR trade show when Mike Vallely like quit World or something like that. Like he'd been in and around a lot of the coming.
Well, he brought Gons and Jason Lee over twice. He brought Jesse Martinez over that time. Like he had deep connections to Rocco.
Jesse's got the there's a thread on Slap forum that's like greatest but shortest video part, and it's Jesse from Rubbish Heap.
Yeah.
It's like, what, 50 seconds? And at the end, he's like, I don't know why I'm pro. They just pay me. And it's like, and
most of it's on that ramp, that MIDI ramp.
And it's fucking, it starts off him coming out the house, isn't it? And he's like, he's got a couple of lines on that ramp and that's it. And I'm like, that's the best video part. That and Tim Jackson, 1.5 minutes. You don't need 15-minute long video parts. You need 1.5 minutes.
Just the best.
And because then it would be filmed in a day anyway. The dudes get the same outfit on throughout it. Just like, right, the filmer will be there on Thursday. Go skating with him, and here are all the tricks I can do.
And that's it.
And that's your video part, rather than going to the same ledge for months on end.
Yeah.
Just to get this trick you've got in mind. It's like, just do the stuff you can do.
You know,
that's why Alex Moul in the Roller Snakes video was so outstanding. I mean,
he's doing loads of stuff on that just little bump in the ground.
In Abingdon, and the Tesco and Tesco curb as well. Anyway, whatever that was.
That brought in quite a lot of the stuff, super tech stuff, where we were all just fiddling around with our boards, falling off constantly. There was no success, whereas Alex could actually make it work.
Donovan Strain, you might remember, who was funny on, I think he's watching video games now. He was funny in the Berrics, when the Berrics was good. Hard to believe that it was.
Yeah.
But Buttery asked Donovan.
Yeah.
He DM'd me after I'd posted a Alex Moul tech clip. He's like, what is that? It's like, I don't know, ask Alex. You know, he asked Alex, and then he went and filmed it at the Berrics. He's like, look, this is the thing that's taken me the longest to learn, because he was super tech, Donovan.
Yeah.
But he's like, I've never seen anything like that. I can't picture how that can be done. But he went and eventually filmed a version of it.
Yeah.
And then sent it to Alex. It's like, it's still influencing people. You know?
Yeah, because there was some absolutely nuts, like sort of like late back foot flips that would varial as well. I couldn't even tell you what they were. They were just nuts. Jeff
really talks about first time going skating with Alex, and how Jeff could kind of lock into little backside nose blunt slides on curbs and sort of pop out. You could just get in. And then he meets Alex Moul, and Alex Moul's locking in, sliding 6 feet, and then big spinning out at the end.
Yeah.
And there's a photo of that, there's a TLB photo of that was in, I think it was in Rad. There's a photo that day. In fact, it might have just been the backside nose blunt itself that was the centre pages, but yeah, the big spin out we got here. But yeah, Tim said, just because you mentioned Tim and Wig, Tim said to me once that he didn't see himself as shooting skateboarding. He shoots movement and colour, because he would need told what's good. Like, he would turn up somewhere and somebody would have to say, no, that guy, that's who you should be shooting. This guy's good. The guy you're shooting is not good. Because Tim's just seeing the photo, which I think is amazing. And yeah, with Wig, pretty much everybody who shot with Wig had said, yeah, when Wig turned up, you would land it because you knew if Wig was shooting, it would go in the magazine. Yeah. It would be perfect and it would go in, so you made sure you rolled away.
There's just something with Wig's photos when I look at them that it's like, you just know that it's a Wig Warland photo.
It's the studio in the street thing that he introduced. It's definitely.
Sick. Hang on a minute, Toby. We need to talk about this episode's show sponsor, and it is Skull Candy. If you're travelling or just trying to zone out a bit of noise, Skull Candy, you've got you covered.
The Crusher ANC2 headphones are wild. You get Crusher bass, you can literally feel active noise cancelling and up to 60 hours of battery.
And if you want something smaller, I'd recommend checking out the Method 360 ANC, powered by Bose Sound. So the audio quality is amazing, the ANC is incredible, and the bass is ridiculous. Not only that, but Skull Candy also do incredible colours and designs, much better than your typical tech company.
Use the code BrainDrain20 for 20% off your order at skullcandy.co.uk. Now back to the show.
Toby?
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
I said it, it's back to the show.
Back to the show now.
Back to the show.
And just going to go back to Avi, but quickly. Pretty sure like a year or two ago, I was talking to him and I was like, what you up to? Because like growing up, Avi was one of my favourites because he's just like, who's this like weird, tall, fucking crazy man flipping his board off the curb, and which I think Moul described as like the chaos flip or something, right? Where he like pops it on like a bench and it flips along. But anyway, I'm pretty sure he sent me like a handwritten list that he was writing for that book of every year that you'd asked him for, and that I'm sure it was for that, and it was from like the 80s onwards and everything that he'd done in that time or something, or what he remembers. I just wanted to bring that up because if you ask Avi to do something, he goes full ahead and tries to recall every situation in that year of his life to try and help cross-reference it like everyone else has done.
Jimmy Boyce was the same.
We cannot pin him down, and we want him to come on the show.
Is he skating? Like,
he's still skating. Skates on his own in the woods in the rain, jumping off his Jeep.
Amazing.
The guy's like 51-year-old.
Yeah.
He's older than 51.
Oh, is he?
Got to be, surely.
Well, the thing was, the mags always made people out to be old when they weren't. Like, so I remember, like, you had, like, the early Sidewalk days, they did, like, a Survivors thing. And the dudes in it would be like, there's Mike Nyland from Plymouth. And I was like, he's so ancient. Dude was only 26 years old. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how young skateboarding was back then. So, like...
Big Brother issue 5, the washed up skaters article. And it's like, yeah, this guy's 24. So
yeah, wasn't Steve Berra asked how he keeps skating at like somewhere between 23 and 26, like in a transfer?
Well, it's like Jason Lee, isn't it? Like pro at 18, retired at 21.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, those vert dudes, they were definitely done, but they had a different kind of struggle in that their skills could not translate to street. But then you had those kind of like seemingly enforced retirements like Sal and Hensley and dudes like that. It's like, what a shame. They could have gone for ages.
Jimmy Boyce was, I mean, he a brilliant human, and he's climbed Mont Blanc solo. I'm sure it was. He lost his tent in a storm, so he spent 16 hours just freezing cold up there on his own. He cycled, I'm sure he cycled the east coast of Australia. He cycled the Highway 1, the west coast of America. He just showed up there, got a bike, and cycled to Jeff's house. Jeff wasn't in. He just carried on. Like, he hadn't even announced that he'd be there. He died, of course, as well. Came back to life after being hit by a car.
Whoa.
And
no, yeah. What's that? Sorry,
he saw the light and everything. He got knocked off his bike. It might have been in Cornwall. It's, I mean, way after 2002, so not in the book. But yeah, he got hit by a car, pretty certain it was, and was, dead, but brought back to life, or he helped bring himself back to life because he's that kind of guy. And yeah, I mean, ask him about it. Like, I don't even want to start speaking on behalf of Jimmy Boyce. It's like I mean, you know him as a great skateboarder, but the things that he's done, the things that other people will tell you about him, like when he first rolled up to Liverpool, and this guy's in Liverpool, like Liverpool's always had local rippers. It's always had a super strong scene, but those guys' jaws dropped when he turned up with his mate Barry, not Barry Wong, different Barry. And he just moved in. He moved into 154 Polton Road, the Carcass house, like where all the kind of hardcore guys stayed, and just fit in. And yeah, just an outstandingly. He's got a photo in 1987 and he's got a photo in 2002. He must be the only person that's got book-worthy photos.
Still ripping.
Bookending.
Yeah.
That era, and he's still ripping. Yeah, you could have had a photo from, I'm sure, 85 and a photo from 2026. You know, he's that good and he's that driven and that passionate about it. I think he swims every day and he runs and he's healthy. He's just like this superhuman entity and a brilliant, brilliant storyteller as well. Like, I thought I kind of knew everything about him. The way that people are somewhat reluctant to talk too much about what they think about things because everybody else had told me, but it was genuinely enlightening listening to that man talk. Yeah, get him on. He's so good.
I think we hit him up and he was just like, yeah, if I'm in the area. And I'm like, Jim, you never know where you're going to be.
There'll be a knock at the door. I'll be like, oh, I'm here. You told me to hit you up.
He would just turn up to the shop.
Yeah.
Just be like, right, let's go.
Yeah.
And that'll be one of those where it's like, all right,
we're going.
Sean, Jimmy's here. Get here now. That's what it'll be.
It would be so good. Yeah. You could even just give him a microphone and just let him talk about whatever he wants to talk about, and it would be great.
Yeah, he's fucking hell, he's unreal. Yeah, he's unreal. Right. What we strayed off again, we were talking about DMs through Instagram, hardest people to get hold of.
Yeah.
I've got another one on that, on hardest people to get hold of. So
Penny, 45 minutes.
Yeah, Curtis McCann, I'd figured probably wouldn't be contactable because he's been off radar since like 94, basically.
Yeah, I can
since
imagine
he got
that'd
hurt.
be hard.
And this photo of him was always going to be on the cover. It's just from the beginning, it's like that's...
Is that when he's on Powell or like Underworld Element?
Yeah, Powell at this point.
Yeah, amazing.
I think it was start of 91. That was the day that he tail grab one-footed the Meanwhile Gap.
Wow.
This particular day, like that session, anyway, he'd kick-flipped it as well. Of course. Harry? No, not by that point. He'd ollied it.
Yeah, okay.
Beg pardon. But the cover, I wanted to not be a skate photo because that would immediately narrow the book down to what it could be about and the era and everything. So this could be now. If Meanwhile 2, if Royal Oak under the Westway, if that still looked like that, and if car Reggies were still like that, that could be now. There's, the outfit could be now. It's just
timeless.
One of my favourite photos. James Hudson. Yeah, James Hudson shot
and
that.
And the story behind it as well.
Yeah, his board shot out when he was skating, just doing that, doing the gap. Curtis was slightly concerned that he might look like, as he said, a vandal. It's like, blatantly not. But I checked the DVLA for the registration of that car, and it hadn't been registered past 1990. So it was confirmed abandoned at this point. And round about there, it wasn't, not that it's beautiful now, but it wasn't, particularly nice around there. And it was the sort of place where people would abandon cars. So yeah, that 100% was an abandoned car.
It's not like some fella's going to come back from work and be like,
it did,
the window goes.
Oh, so he was worried about that now?
Yeah, he was worried that might reflect badly on him. Bless him.
30 years later?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing that someone would even bother,
because everyone else would be like, yeah, fuck it.
Oh, the cover, you say? Yeah. And yeah, it's a non-skate photo, but it's part of skateboarding. That is the kind of thing that happened in skateboarding. But yeah, I hadn't even thought about getting Curtis, didn't want to bother him or anything. But then I get a DM from a guy called Leon who had said, oh, I hear you're making a book. I'm friends with Curtis. Would you like to speak to Curtis? Like, yeah, kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I bet before you spoke to him, you watched all of his old Powell stuff, because I recently had a Curtis-a-thon of watching the Powell stuff in the skate
Celebrity
park
Tropical Fish at Ewer Street. The best Curtis footage, I'm going to say, is, Skypager, but the best other Curtis footage is in the South Bank video that Simon and Gordon Casey made with Ben Wheeler. It's like I don't know, link under this video or something. Can you do that? But it's the South
I'll
Bank
try
video.
and find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just search the South Bank video. It's Mistaken ID is Simon Casey's YouTube name.
Yeah.
And what a snapshot into South Bank 1991 that is. And they're all mates as well. So the skating is just what was happening. And Curtis in that and Simon Evans just out of this world. But yeah, so Leon, Curtis's mate from Sutton, got in touch saying, yeah, I've followed you on Instagram for a while and I do believe what you're doing here is legit. So let me get Curtis for you. And Curtis wanted to do it over email. He wanted to type it. Fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd sent him a list of questions, but had said, anything else you want to talk about, please add that. And he came back, it was 5,500 words from him. So yeah, he had plenty to talk about, which was really great. He is really particular, however, how he's represented photo-wise.
Okay.
And there are not as many Curtis skate photos in here as I had planned.
Right.
Because he's just like, no, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. And it's fair play.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Everybody else just like, what? Yeah. Thanks. It's like, it's
kind of adds
storytelling,
to the
it's
legend,
part
really.
of it. Yeah, totally. His two least favourite photos, he said, are probably the two that everybody would be most familiar with, the two ollies down the South Bank 6 on the Ricky Basetta L Mint board. It was cover of Rad, same issue, July 92, and it was the centre pages of Rad. Same issue, his interview issue. And I mean, I loved those. I've got one of them in my living room.
Yeah.
The real thing framed properly. It's like in my grown-up living room. And I kind of see what he means, because he was about progression, and these like two, one of them is an Underworld Element logo. Remember the silhouette as well?
Yeah.
And yeah, his two most known photographs are an ollie down 6 stairs. And for a guy, it's stylish, of course, but he was stylish anyway. That's normal to him.
Yeah.
And for a guy that was doing the stuff that he was doing at South Bank or at Ewer Street, the flip trick, the level of stuff that he was introducing and progressing, to be represented by two ollies down 6 stairs, it's like, I kind of see his point there.
I get that completely, because that's what I think about when I think of him. It's like, is it the green board?
Yeah, the Ricky Basetta.
Yeah, so straight away that's it. That's the image I think of.
Blue
and there's this
sky.
kind of disconnect between like his sheer like technical ability and then what I think of when I photographically when I think of him. They're two totally different things. So.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him. Like, I totally respect that. There was Bobby Puleo had got me via Leo Fitzpatrick a Larry Clark photo of Curtis in New York, and Curtis talks about getting injured and being in New York. You've got Jeff Pang talking about Curtis in New York, one of the few Americans in there. And yeah, this photo appeared of Curtis in Justin Pierce's flat, just sitting like that, looking a lot better than me. Obviously looking really cool with his cool hair, just a cool shirt, just looking great, but doing nothing. And when Curtis was one of the few people who saw his parts of the book as it progressed, as it was put together, because I want him to be happy. Yeah, everybody else just like, yeah, go ahead, whatever. But he was, wants to sort of micro manage his contribution, which is fine, because he hasn't spoken for 33 years in print. And he didn't want that photo in it, because he said, it makes it look like I think I'm the boy. And it's like, well, firstly, you are.
Yeah.
Everybody that's ever met you says he's the boy.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't want to be seen like that. It's like, fair enough, that's coming out, and we'll take it out
Do you think,
as you wish. But
do you think part of the reason why he is so sort of like legendary, like, because he was really around in skating for a short period of time.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, the actual career of a pro skater is short anyway. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
his was like
He's like
particularly
minuscule.
short. Does that add to like the kind of like the legend? Like, he is not one of these guys who is like around milking it now.
right.
Like, and that I don't like that term, sort of like milking it, but some people are definitely
Yeah, but it
guilty
is.
of
Yeah,
like, and he was just kind of like, he was there. He was in that very specific period, which was like that super formative, cool, and like mid-90s, he was off the map.
yeah. I
already.
think his last photo potentially, I could be way off here, but I'm pretty sure his last photo was a skin photo of frontside blunt slide at Fairfield Halls in Transworld in 93, the end of 93 in the UK.
Did you get to talk to him about why he stepped back?
He was injured. He broke his ankle at Wallenberg. He had other kind of recurring injuries.
Yeah.
And it just hurt too much to skate
anymore.
But yeah, he tried out for kids when he was in New York, and he was just too nervous.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could have been, for better or for worse, he could have been in that film. But interesting you asking about not persevering and not being around now still skateboarding, but he wasn't even around when the style of skateboarding, the era of skateboarding that he was part of ushering in flourished.
No.
Like he was super good, and he'd introduced style into flippery.
Yeah.
Not many people were able to do.
No, but it was a necessary step because it was grim. It needed
just
styling.
kick and hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, and he dressed cool as well, always.
Yeah.
And then as people started dressing a bit cooler, sort of 94, 95, and taking flip tricks, making it bigger and just pushing harder and popping again.
Yeah.
Like he would have been, no pun, in his element. He would have been, that would have been perfect for him. So I think, I by no means can speak on his behalf, but it can't be easy seeing this form of skateboarding that you were excelling at becoming the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a pretty amazing story to and that's encapsulated in here. It's amazing. I tell you what, it'd be really interesting to know though, is like with that full collection of mags you've got, like how did you accumulate them? Was that like a mixture of like donations going on eBay and then stuff that you bought yourself?
In your actual physical collection, how big is that collection? What do you have?
I've got an office at the end of the garden that is floor to ceiling, wall to wall of mags. And video wise, all the VHSs and DVDs are in boxes in the loft inside the house, because for the last 6 years or so, I've only really needed to refer to the magazines so much, and most video stuff that I need to look at is on YouTube anyway. Most magazines, pretty much apart from 70s Skateboarder, US one. I don't have Action Now. Don't have a full set of Action Now. If you want to call that skate mag, it was kind of various surfing and BMX and everything. And missing a few issues of the, a few large format issues of Thrasher from 1981, which I'm quite happy to still be looking for. You'd probably pay hundreds or thousands of pounds to buy them, but with me and other mag people out there, it's just about swapping them. It's like if you get one, like some of them have come from people who are having a clear out, and they'll be like, I've got a box of mags and there'll be one in it that I need, but they just want rid of it, so they'll send it up. And then I've got these other mags that I can swap with Kevin Marks or whoever, or, if somebody's in it, then or it's my mate's 50th. Have you got that photo? It's like, I can send you the mag now. That kind of thing. Although less of that now that I'm sort of trimming it down. I don't really want to have too many duplicates because they do take up an awful lot of space. And
I bet they do.
If I can send them to whoever's in them or whoever was involved in making them, then great.
If you've got a duplicate of the Big Brother magazine with Bam doing the front side lip on the fella holding the rail, I'll happily take that off your hands, because that's been one of the... I got his Thrasher one where he's doing like the backside 5 at the F Philly Park.
Those later Big Brothers they are more scarce than the early ones. I think the early ones, you bought it and you kept it. You knew it was something special. So there's a few of them out there. Not that they made enormous amounts of them, although they famously made 100,000 copies of issue 2 or something. I got mine free from Roller Snakes. Didn't even ask for it. I'd ordered something else, and it was just this massive thing came rolled up in the package because they had made far too many. The later ones, though, I think because they were a lot less remarkable, people probably didn't keep them, or the people who'd got into skateboarding post video game just came and went, and they didn't covet these things.
Was it Big Brother that one of the early ones that did it? It was like had Tim Gavin on the front with a cereal, and it was like a cereal box.
Yeah.
So that must really mess up how your archive looks. You got all these beautiful magazines, and then you got a cereal box.
Well, the first, I think 12 or 13 issues of Big Brother were all different formats.
Right.
They're all different sizes and shapes. So some of them are in boxes. Like Homeboy magazine was large format as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a box that's got the large format Thrashers. It's got Homeboy, issue 2 of Big Brother. But yeah, they were just, they were having a great time just messing about with the formats.
Yeah.
The size and shape of it. That cereal box, folds down. That was in a show at the Design Museum in Kensington, the skateboard museum, their skateboard exhibition, alongside the Shorties bolt that I got that came with it.
It came with the bolt as well.
Individual package Shorties bolt. All sorts of things came in that cereal box. There was a Shorties condom, which I don't imagine anybody buying Big Brother at that time had any use for.
No, definitely, like we discussed earlier, like getting girls was a bit of an issue when you were wearing massive baggy.
Yeah. People probably didn't even know what that was. There were slick bottoms, but rolled up before they'd been applied.
Wow.
And that was one of the presents that mate got a day one, the
So do you
Jurassic
think
Park.
they were like spare slicks? Like, because there's this whole thing about there's a bunch of slicks, like a Punisher that does the rounds now, and like a Sal Dolphin, where people have
There's
taken
also
those.
an Alex Moul bazooka slick
Is there?
that's been on the groups the last week.
I've saw that.
So they got
changed
these
hands,
slicks that
yeah.
are kind of like been rehomed on like
Yeah.
slightly newer boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just mention the big,
Into the microphone.
the issues of Big Brother then? That was such a great time in skateboarding because nobody gave a fuck. And like the cereal box one and it's just stuff like that was so good. And like it was a time when like the cease and desist stuff, like no one cared about that, and
They
it's
could do anything because
Yeah.
the audience was so small.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the authorities, your mum and dad even weren't seeing this.
Yeah.
It was just ours. It was such a kind of tiny culture at
Yeah.
the time. So yeah, they could just get away with anything. And then
Just
of course,
so anyone listening, Toby's got a microphone sat off the set, just in case.
I'm not very well.
Whose handsome, angelic voice that is. It's Toby sat behind the set. Sorry, go on.
The stuff they could get away with then was absolutely mental. Like I had a Henry Sanchez board that actually came. It was mail ordered from Snakes in about 92, 93. Came with a free Deathbox hoodie because they messed up the order. So I was like super stoked. But this Henry Sanchez deck was just Beauty and the Beast because I was like 14, like fully just like, oh, there's Beauty and the Beast. That's cool. It's kind of weird and kitsch, whatever. Didn't realize that Beast was Beast in Beauty, did I at all? Had no idea about that.
Yeah.
But like, so to do that to a Disney graphic, can you imagine? Like, there'd be hell to pay today. It'd be like,
yeah, some of the stuff that was in skateboard magazines and not just Big Brother, some of the stuff that was in later UK magazines would not only get the magazine shut down, it would probably get W.H. Smith shut down. Like
Yeah.
there's some gnarly stuff that was passed off, I suppose, or excused as juvenile humour that now would be like criminal.
would you include the cover of Phat Magazine and that with the dude with the
Nah,
gun
I mean,
with the
that's
flower?
a huge Matt Stewart, who's now a massively respected photographer with books out and is a brilliant guy, the street photographer. And I think having been a skateboarder probably helps him
Yeah.
do this slightly annoying thing in the street that people don't really want you to do.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of similar sort of discipline. But it's got there's a daisy in it.
Yeah.
It's blatantly, there's a big article in there about guns, but it's not celebrating guns, it's not glamorizing guns. We were all listening to music that talked about guns, that had videos with guns in it, but we're not thinking about getting a gun and
Yeah.
shooting somebody. Guns were part of culture. It's like the devil was part of culture in the 80s.
So what you're saying is that in the 90s, people assumed personal responsibility, and now, not so much.
Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah. Taking it upon yourself to be responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
God. It's wild. But yeah, that was the issue, the first issue of that got it shut down. It only lasted 2 more issues and they'd lost distribution because there was a gun on the cover.
So what was the chronology? Did it go Rad, then Phat, and then System, and then Sidewalk? Was it all the same
Rad
dudes, or-
again. Tim Layton Boyce, when Rad came up for sale, he figured that nobody's going to want it, so they'd bid quite low for it. But then somebody took it, which is why you got Stig and Eddie era Rad, the known as shit era Rad. When it was, I mean, it was truly terrible. I think Johnny Robson said that's the worst magazine, and not the worst skateboard magazine, literally the worst magazine that has ever existed.
Okay, so which year are we talking about?
93.
Yeah,
So-
all right. Yeah, the end of days.
Yeah,
Rad.
I think the last issue of Rad, I think, was April 93, the one with all the faces on the cover from Spitalfields contest.
Yeah, okay.
And then, then this shit era Rad existed.
Yeah.
But Tim and Gavin Hills and Vernon and Skin wanted to do something, but there was no room for another skateboard magazine in the market because that was taken up by this terrible magazine. So they made this thing that had skateboarding in it, but had music in it, had manga in it, had clothes in it,
Yeah,
had
okay.
burgers in it,
Yeah.
it had a gun in the cover, all this stuff
Yeah.
that teenage boys were interested
Yeah.
in. And it was brilliant,
Yeah.
utterly brilliant. And then, simultaneously you had System done out of roller snakes.
Yeah.
Because I think, Paul Haynes just knew that if there was nowhere to advertise, then there's no business to be made. So
Yeah,
make
sure.
your own magazine.
Yeah.
But then Horsley and Co came in and took over Rad
Yeah.
after System and Phat had folded,
Right.
and sort of built it up, made it a bit better, and then they got the offer of doing Sidewalk in 95. James Brown of Loaded took a massive amount of inspiration from Phat. I mean, when Loaded began, obviously the thing it became did horrible things to society. It became dreadful. But when Loaded first started, it was fun. It was lighthearted. It took the piss out of men's mags. It took the piss out of masculine culture.
Yeah.
And it had good music. It had good films. I think Gary Oldman on the cover of issue 1. But James Brown, the editor and founder of Loaded, had been at a party somewhere in Soho where Phat was. There were copies of Phat lying about.
Right.
And I spoke to James because he employed Gavin Hills.
Okay.
Gavin wrote for Loaded. And it's the similarities between those two magazines, their outlook. It wasn't about we are these cool guys like Thrasher is or something, or like other men's magazines were. It was just like, we don't know, but here's a thing that we like, which is so much more appealing, so much more relatable. And James had said that, I had seen Loaded. I had seen Phat before I did Loaded, and there were things in there that I took to Loaded. But I mean, if you look at Phat in the first few issues of Loaded, there's so much crossover. It's totally undeniable. And obviously he took the editor of Phat to write for him.
That's incredible. So not only do we have like Simon Evans and those dudes making
Revolutionising
Adidas,
the footwear.
mega popular and stuff, you've got like Phat resulted in, or heavily influenced Loaded. It's mad how these little acorns come from
skateboarding,
come
totally.
through.
And that era of Loaded, that definitely informed a lot of kind of Britpop culture, a lot of like the kind of whole sort of post-New Labour movement, a lot of just this cultural shift that was happening at that time as well. Like there was the soundtrack, there was the TV shows, there was the music, and the soundtracks, there was and all this stuff at that moment. It was a shift, it was a change in culture, a change in direction, and that came from skateboarding as well.
So that's, okay, so that a lot of those key points in skateboarding history, which turned into so much more in wider society, is like going to be encapsulated in your book, obviously. Why did you stop it where you did? Like, what
was his reason to cap it at 2002?
Yeah. Is that when it became...
Go on.
I feel like you're talking about those times were so influential and had an effect on wider society, and then by the time you get to 2002, it's not long after that it starts to become absorbed into wider culture and maybe becomes less influential.
I think so. But if you started skateboarding in 2003, you're probably not going to say that. But from standing back and looking at the broader timeline, and from being there at the time, being part of it, I would say by the end of 2002, the progression or the forward progression of skateboarding had slowed down, and it was going off sideways in great ways. But yeah, 2003, I think, is when Transworlds introduced the relapse page. It was like, here's an old Spike Jonze photo, or Grant Britton photo from 10 years ago. And that symbolises to me when skateboarding started to look back on itself.
Starts to go in on itself.
The Dogtown movies were around at that time. And people were, rather than looking for the next thing and the next thing, people had started to look back.
So you reckon the navel gazing in skateboarding actually started all the way back in 2003?
Yeah, I mean, thereabouts. Things became a little bit more predictable, I think, as well. Like, Sidewalk and Document both rebranded purely by chance October 2002. Right. And those two covers are so similar. And if you think of...
Are we talking white border?
Yeah.
It says Document, or it says Sidewalk?
Lowercase bold, and they've each got a little kind of sort of avatar, you would say now, a little kind of round logo. Yeah. It's square photo, because people were shooting medium format by this point as well, and shooting digitally. So everything sort of post 2003, it's the DVD era, so this stuff's preserved. It exists anyway. Yeah, okay. So much of it's online. Things were getting shared digitally, and shot digitally and saved on hard drives. So that stuff's available if you want it. It was also, it'd been happening for a few years, but it was really when you were getting the Snickers drum and bass Pepsi extreme snowboard festival with half-pipe demonstration.
Yeah, there was some pretty grim sponsorships back then.
That kind of stuff had happened in the late 80s, let's be clear, as well, with like things like Swatch and Pepsi, back to the 70s. Yeah. But to be so squarely aimed in such a cynical way, it's such a wide audience. It's like, oh, if you like motocross and snowboarding, you obviously like drum and bass, so here's the magazine for you. It's like, this is a mess. Like, what is this stuff? Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think, I mean, for me, peak Blueprint's Waiting for the World, but by 2003, things had kind of dispersed. Not that Lost and Found isn't a masterpiece, of course, but I think first broadcast, 2001, was a bit of a kind of end of an era, because in an era that had to end, but getting Blueprint and Unabomber all together, rather than it feeling like two totally different things, it's kind of like there's less of a story to tell.
You know what, from an industry side of things, that ties in perfectly with the globalization of supply chains and everything getting made out in China, and then the sudden explosion of all the footwear brands and all that kind of stuff all seemed to happen at the same time. So there were big changes around 2002.
Amazing. Yeah, if you look at a feature interview between 1987 and 2002, you probably still know who that guy is, or you'll still watch his parts, and you might follow him on Instagram, watching him, riding his bike with his kids or whatever he does now. But if you pick up a mag from 2005, say, it could be a full 18-page interview, and you can't even place who it is, or I can't. Anyway, it's just because people came, it might have been post-video game, and the video game exists because there was an audience for it. It obviously helped propel skateboarding, but it only got made because skateboarding was really big anyway. X Games was already on TV and everything. Tony Hawk had already done the 900. It was a big deal. But of course, it just exploded in a totally new way post that coming out. And then all these people started, got good, and then maybe just dropped off and got into something else.
Yeah, sure.
But the vast majority of people in this are still either skate or follow skate media, or are certainly were interested enough in talking about skateboarding for me to be able to put this thing together. But somebody, in 2005 or 6 or something might just be like, I only did that for a few years. I don't know.
Something they did.
I'm a mountain biker now, or something. Or I'm an accountant. Doesn't matter.
Well, I think that explanation can delete the question, will you be making a part 2 from 2002 onwards? So that can swiftly fuck off right there.
But what would be, I'd like to know, going back the way, why did you start in 1987?
1987 was, to me, and I started in 1988, so it's not it's not autobiographical or anything. I'm not in it, to be clear. 87 was when street skating properly came in. It was the post Back to the Future generation.
Right.
Like Back to the Future, I think, came out in UK cinemas December 85.
Yeah.
So throughout 86, we are seeing it either in the cinema or on renting it out or something. Digging out an old poly prop from the 70s, your next door neighbour, your big brother or something, you've got this plastic skateboard. And then next Christmas or next birthday, you're getting your Christmas complete. So by 87, everybody was, equipped. Everybody was skating. And there was no way that we're not in Southern California, so we're not just driving to the nearest skate park. You were having to skate outside. So, of course, street skating came about completely organically. Video was becoming much more of a thing.
Yeah.
First big video for me was Public Domain, 1988.
Right.
But there was 87 was, street skating in video. Street skating was no longer how you got to the ramp. It was a thing. It was the year Mud Machine turned into M Zone. Charlie Burrows had been selling BMXs on the back of ET for years, but then suddenly everybody's wanting skateboards, whether they'd BMX'd or not. It was all about skateboards. It was the year Tim Layton Boyce transitioned BMX action bike into Read and Destroy. That was when that era of modern skateboarding began. I think I would argue that to the death.
And you still think that, that's from Back to the Future, I know, is it's super influential.
Back to the Future and Police Academy 4. I mean, Back to the Future was like holding on to the back of the car. It's like, wow, that's so cool. But then Police Academy 4 with Bones Brigade, actually doing tricks, because Stacey Peralta was a consultant on that, and sparks coming off the grinds and things like that, doing backside airs over cars and things like that, or method airs over cars. Like, right. So all this generation that were learned to push around or suddenly see this, like, oh, there we go. Yep. That's what this is.
Yeah.
So I think those two massive mainstream movies, shifted culture in ways that they possibly didn't expect to.
They definitely did. Like, me and Toby spoke to 50 guests, and that came up. We spoke about it when you were on about that as well. So it was definitely a monumental shift.
The amount of people that I spoke to who said, "Oh, it's a mad coincidence. It's really weird that you've chosen 87 to 2002, because that's when I was most." It's like, it's not a coincidence. It's like, you ask around. That's when this generation started, and then didn't stop, but maybe slowed down. Got their first proper job, got their first proper girlfriend, their first proper flat, and had to maybe sideline skateboarding a little bit, start working in skateboarding. Yeah. It's, for a lot of people, those were the years.
And that, because that was such a formative part where it really got people into it, and they became sort of like lifers, or even if they didn't carry on skating, they're super into it. That's where the kind of the interest in the reissue boards from those kind of earlier years definitely comes from, because those guys are super into it. And obviously that's something that you're getting heavily involved in.
Yeah, working in now, but also the mid-90s board, the late 90s boards.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't, my first boards, I've never had a Wet Willy board or Flameboy board, but for a lot of people that would have been their first board. That would have been their golden age.
Yes.
And they might be wrong, but everybody's golden age is different, certainly. But I mean, I think the artwork and the videos, just artistic direction that was going on in skateboarding, sort of 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, that is what a lot of people are looking for. Yeah. I mean, and the boards, to be clear as well, the boards that we're making are super accurate. They're, Mark McKee's down, Sean Cliver's down. It's all like, Rocco's signing everything off. Rocco works with us. It's all completely legit, but we're not trying to make boards that look exactly the same. So if you are a collector, you can look at the top, you can look at the stamp on the top, and you'll know that it's a reissue.
Is that because like collectors who own the originals get their knickers in a bit of a knot when they get something that is too similar to the
That
original?
is the case, as you know, but it kind of happened anyway, because there's no way that you can make something that looks exactly the same. If you are if you've got the OG, you'll be able to hold the two together and spot the differences. The graphics,
Yeah.
a lot of the time the graphics are going to look better now because
Yeah.
they might have been like the Kareem fudgesicle board was a slick, and that's a Mark McKee oil painting.
Right.
And that shouldn't have been hidden behind a slick, basically. So now that's on wood. But the Jeremy Klein Black Eyed Kid board that came out in the same drop, that's a slick.
So that board, you've got like 2 sets of drill holes. It looks like there's kind of like the OG drillings and the modern ones as well.
Yes.
Like that wasn't on the original board, was it?
Yeah, it would have been, because that was when truck hole patterns were changing.
Yeah.
Remember the front bolts, the front holes?
Because your front bolts were basically getting stuck on your nose sides and your tail sides.
So you had, for a while, you had the 8-hole pattern,
Yeah.
so you could choose your wheelbase.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I'd always thought it was so you could choose the size of your nose, because I was much more interested in doing nose slides than the tightness of the turn or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't say that in front of Toby, Jesus Christ.
We're pretty,
That's
Toby and I are
sacrilegious.
pretty into our wheelbases at the
Oh,
moment.
really?
Sacrilegious.
I just-
There's the crew that are just like, it doesn't matter what it is, I can skate it, and that's cool and
And
everything.
then there's the
But then there's people like us that
13.75
need to be,
short wheel
Yeah.
base.
get it right.
right.
But I always heard people say it was from having a bigger or smaller nose.
Oh,
That's
totally.
That's what I.
That should matter. It was all about, it was the era of
But
nose
I've
slides.
also skated a 15-inch wheelbase board and not knowing the difference. And Toby's like, "You are actually stupid."
Yeah,
So
that's
But the
appalling.
nose is perfect. It was, you're only going at 5 miles an hour, 92 anyway. So it was, certainly for me, it was about nose slides. But yeah, so you had the 8-hole pattern, and then truck
Okay, so that
truck
lasted
holes
a little while.
changed so that you could wear out the base plate on your
Yeah.
nose slides. And they brought the truck holes back. I think Mark Gonzalez might have been the first to do both. I think he might have been the first one to re-drill a board to give himself a bigger nose, and I'm pretty sure as well he was the first one to drill his trucks back so that you could do nose slides.
Right, okay. Unwittingly not realizing he'd made his wheelbase much smaller and therefore his turn much tighter and his spin much faster.
And easier tray flips.
Yeah.
So going back to the book, how did it come to like the quality and quantity control of the photos you put in it? Because I assume that you probably had 1,000 more photos that you would have wanted to have put in it. So how did you whittle it down to what's finally presented in that book?
That was really difficult. It was hard cutting the text down as well from 800,000 words to I think about 180,000 words. The word count limit was 120,000 words. And it was, I think, to be 380 pages, and it was also meant to be out about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks to all at Batsford Publishing for their patience
Mm-hmm.
in letting me take longer and make it bigger. There were a lot of great stories that kind of relied upon having an image, and if there wasn't a photo, or if that thing didn't exist anymore, then can that really go in if it's somebody describing something that needs to
If
be
you've
seen?
not got the
That makes
visual,
sense.
Yeah.
It's a total variety of photos because it's not a photo book. There are photos that Wig Warland shot that were on the front cover of magazines, and there were photos that some dude shot on his dad's disposable camera that were processed in boots, because that's what skateboarding was. And this is not a book about the magazines. It's not a photo book. It's full of photos, of course, but a snap of something going on. Just the energy that's in that. Like there's a photo of Dan Cates catching his breath at Radlands, and Howard Cook, flying.
Was that because he was talking too much, do you reckon? Not from the
Yeah.
skating, but because Kate was talking so much. He was like, fucking hell.
He's on the fun box right in the middle. And
Is it a black and white photo?
no, it's a colour photo. It's kind of a bit later on. I'm never going to be able to find it, but that is just a snap, and that came from somebody saying, "Oh, I've got some photos. I was around, I had a camera for a little while," and like that photo sums up the energy of Radlands. And somebody talks about the energy of Radlands. Like there it is in a photo that never ran in a magazine, has only existed in a shoebox under a bed for decades, and it's still the perfect photo to show that.
Yeah.
Tom Penny talks about going to Uxbridge and seeing Mike Manzuri do these massive like frontside melancholies, the width of the ramp. I got in touch with Dan Adams, who's got Tim Leighton Boyce's photos, and I don't suppose, optimistic here, I don't suppose there's a photo of Mike Manzuri doing a big frontside melancholy, the width of the ramp at Uxbridge. Yes, There is.
Oh, amazing.
So matching things up like that was almost impossible because you know, what are the odds? But you want to check, like if somebody talks about something that massively important to them, then I'm going to try and find a photo of that, see if that does exist now. There's a photo of at Stockwell of the kind of side crew, the shop on Lower Marsh, and they're all in it. They just all happen to be there, just all like drinking and smoking and stuff. And that just, I think that was maybe Mark Channer shot that, and you know, just point and shoot, just like snapping away. But like now, this photo is like super important. Photos of great skateboarding are always great to look at, but there are just these sort of document style photos of the crew or of a thing.
Yeah, it's like a behind the scene thing.
So much more important.
Yeah.
Every photographer I've ever spoken to for anything has said that they just wished they'd turned around and shot what was going on behind them rather than the trick. But when you've only got 36 frames and it's your job to get skate photos, you're not even going to waste a frame shooting somebody just chilling. But those photos of people just chilling are super important now. Skin did shoot a few of those. He was pretty good at shooting something else.
Yeah, he was.
So this is the photo that's like really immediately got my attention. Can everyone see that? The front side melon by like Penny. Is that from the same session as this melon here that was on the front of Rad? That was just like, I think anyone in our age group will remember that. It's just such an amazing photo. Same set.
But not one that ran.
Yeah. So how did you choose? Like, were there loads of those, or was it like
there's
Tim
only
just had a few?
like multiple shots of the same trick kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, there's not an awful lot of Tim Layton Boy's photos in the book. There's maybe about a dozen.
Right.
But I love Tim as a person and a photographer. His stuff is out there, kind of anyway. Certainly more of the early era, in Dan's book as well. But yeah, I don't know how that one came about. I definitely gave Dan a wish list of people at certain locations,
Right.
that I kind of needed to illustrate what was being said.
I thought that might be. It looked like the Cowley Road ramp, but I don't think it was.
I think it is. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it should
And not
be.
like, because there was one in Leamington Spa as well. It just looks.
Pretty sure that's
different.
Cowley Road. Yeah.
So that was in Tom's interview. That's like
That's not in it. He had the cover and he had his checkout in the same issue.
right.
And I think his checkout was just an ollie to fakie with his hands kind of like down, obviously.
Yeah.
And the melon on the cover. And he's wearing the SS20 Stussy
Yeah.
top. And he got sent a box of Stussy stuff by Stussy for that because they thought it was a Stussy top.
Oh, did
They
they?
got sent to
Oh,
SS20.
amazing.
Yeah, I had
And
a royal blue one of them. They were awesome.
They
were
didn't
great.
even realise that it didn't say Stussy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, thanks for repping us in the mag. It's like, what's this?
Yeah, he had no idea. How many people overall do you think have contributed to the book?
I think it's about 250.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had a spreadsheet of everybody that had either contributed, a photo of a board or weeks of their life talking to me about it. And yeah, it needed all of that to go together. Like some people have got the boards, but they just don't throw them up all over Instagram.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like so much stuff's out there. A lot of the stuff in here is mine, but for so much other stuff, there were people like Ben Allnut and Paul Shire particularly. Got a lot of stuff. Colin Kennedy did a lot of good stuff as well. Just like, thank God some people kept one of everything that they made or that they were given.
Yeah.
Like Foss, he's got his original notebook of when he drew that first heroin logo when he was in hospital.
Wow.
And he sent photos of that. He didn't send the physical thing, he sent photos of that. But loads of people sent physical stuff. Dan McGee sent me all these tubes of all this blueprint artwork, stuff that got used, stuff that didn't. So yeah, there's some pretty great blueprint stuff in there. Pete Fowler, who drew Panic and Unabomber boards, he's kept one of everything he made.
Do you do reaction as well?
Don't think he did any reaction stuff. Ben Allnut did
Right,
reaction stuff as
'Cause
well.
you got that in there as well. That was like a cool little, like, it was, that reaction was kind of almost like New Deal Distribution's Flameboy.
Yeah, kind of. Well, the Professor was,
Yeah.
when the Professor came in, it definitely was. Yeah, Matt Fowler, now an artist and musician, it broke his heart having to draw that stuff. You know?
I bet it did.
And then when he left, and then Ben Allnut got his job. Ben now does the collaborations at Palace,
Right?
and he works with Greg Finch, who's also who was pro.
He
for,
was reaction,
for
yeah.
reaction.
Yeah.
TLB worked for New Deal UK, like he did the ads.
Right.
Like he thinks that was Steve Douglas just looking out for him.
Yeah.
Sort of a bit later on.
Yeah.
And all those ads, because they were the first ones to do it, of the super sharp, tiny photos of all the boards rather than a big list. That was
Okay.
TLB came up with that.
Yeah.
And then everybody did it, of course.
Yeah, because those lists of boards, like it was like you'd have like a skate shop in the mag, and they would just have like a list of boards. It was like pretty dry, wasn't it?
those old Snakes ads. Yeah, it was. You'd still highlight the ones you wanted and stuff, but by this point, when you could see all these boards and shoes and cargo trousers and caps and belts and wallets all spread out in full colour, it just looked outstanding. And that again was TLB. Like, he's still changing things. Then he went on and made the .gov website.
The .gov website.
Yeah.
Wow, I suffer that
But
every day.
it is made in such a, like, you know, the internet, but it's, and you know how web forms work, but to anybody who doesn't, that's really easy for them.
Yeah.
Like, for us, you might be thinking it's too basic or it's counterintuitive, but if you don't know how to work the internet, you don't know how to work a website, that works perfectly.
Really?
That's why it's existed for so long.
Wow.
And again, another TLB innovation.
Yeah.
Fucking big up TLB. So, do you know roughly how many issues that the book's going to be made? Do we call it a pressing, like a record? How many are going to be pressed? What's the correct?
Yeah, maybe you can call it that if you want.
Yeah.
I think 3,500.
Yeah.
I think 2,000 in the UK, 1,000 in the States, and 500 between Japan and Australia. Sounds familiar.
I think you're going to need a second run for
Yeah.
sure. Like, there's a lot of hype on this book, and it's like kind of like, you know, just the photos that I've seen in it. I'm like, got to have that, and I've got to read it as well. Like, like all the interviews in it. Like, people who just like Tom Penny, who you just haven't been able to really get anything out of in years. I mean, that's
just, I don't know. Like, I think maybe having Ian Deacon say to him, "Look, this is legit. You know, do a good job of this here," and he's doing it in Leon, saying to Curtis, and then like Dan McGee or something, knowing that this is. I mean, I don't imagine anybody's welcome to try and do this again, but a lot of these stories now are out there and they're in here. So for a lot of people, it was like their kind of one chance. They're not going to do a book. Yeah. So Dan was able to tell the full kind of story of his journey from getting sponsored by Big Spin to doing Blueprint, Alvin as well, talking about all Phase 7 related stuff. And as more and more people spoke, I was able to say to the next person along, well, I've spoken to him. You just kind of need you now, and it falls into place.
When you're asking somebody, like, you know, will you do an interview? They're like, well, these are my personal stories. They're like quite a big deal to me. I only want to do it once in the right place, because once it's done, it's done. So you basically had to convince like quite a lot of people that this is the spot for them to put down those memories. And so you just kind of built it.
That's how it happened, but I didn't want to convince anybody. I didn't want to try and make anybody want to do it. Yeah. Just if somebody wasn't down, then no problem. I'll maybe come back to them once I've got literally every one of their mates talking. Yeah, right. Like Rob Selly, when I spoke to him, he didn't. I don't think he replied to me. I don't think he follows me. He might not have seen it, or might not have been interested. But then
Same with us. We've asked him about coming on the pod. He's just not that guy.
You'll need to go to Milton Keynes to do it, though. You need to take all this stuff there. Leo Sharp had tried to nudge him along with it, and he wasn't down, and that's fine. I'm not going to hassle him. But then when I posted that this existed, like, he DM'd, I think, that day to say, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I would have loved to. Didn't, it's almost kind of like I didn't realise that it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know me. Like, why would he?
Yeah.
So it's like, he's got things he probably doesn't want to talk about. He doesn't want somebody asking if they can ask him a bunch of questions. But there weren't many people like that. Everybody that I'm pretty certain everybody I wanted to speak to is in it. When I read it, I'm probably going to think, should have asked, this next person about that. But, at the moment, it's pretty complete, I think.
Yeah.
Has it left a big hole now? Because if you're doing that for like six years, like, it's like Sidewalk going to fill that gap.
Now, Steve Douglas starts work about 5 a.m.
Yeah, he does.
Time.
It's crazy when you start getting emails from him.
And then you
super early
start getting
morning.
the calls, and then Bod's up, and then Louis up, and then Jeff and Bill are up, and it's just all going back and forward. And yeah, I don't think Steve Douglas sleeps.
No.
I think he
Not very much.
goes to bed and works on his laptop,
Yeah.
and then gets up and continues to work.
Yeah.
It's just that he can't call you when he's in bed because his wife will be asleep, but then he's straight into his office and he's calling you. It's just, that could be like, there's not enough hours in a day to do all the stuff that is going on there.
Yeah.
Especially now that Rocco and Mike V and Natis are all kind of involved.
Man, that's incredible. So,
It had to be legit. Like, there's no way it could just be, here's that old board you like again.
Yeah.
Would you like to buy it? It's like, here's that old board you like, and it's signed by this guy, and we've made a video with him talking about it, and then what he thought of it.
Yeah.
And then there's the full story from the artist. All this.
See, that's what's really nice about what you're doing with the Sidewalk reissues, is it's properly backed up with like videos and interviews and all sorts of media that actually kind of give it the board's context. It's not just like,
It's not
here's
just
a reissue
it's not just
board.
someone printing it and being like,
Yeah.
oh, here you go.
Yeah, and there's certain reissue boards now where you can't reissue them anymore. Please stop. Like, it's just like people have just been putting out the same reissue boards over and over again, and you're like, the people who are going to buy that have scratched that itch.
Surely.
Stop. But like, the world stuff is like, there's so much world and all the
untapped.
sub-brands. Yeah.
And because,
and
as we were
loved.
talking about earlier, some boards only existed for a couple of weeks, but they might have been like exceptional. They might be amazing, but they just weren't allowed to live for long because you've got to make another board. This guy's got a video part coming out, need that.
Yeah.
This guy's got a photo in a mag, needs a new board for that. Anything, we need to do an ad, new graphic. So stuff did just get kind of lost in the maelstrom.
So if you're curating and overseeing all that reissue side of things, how are you guys like deciding on like which reissues go in?
It's, for the ones that I've been picking, is stuff that personally I like, obviously, that I would want to either skate or have in the wall as a middle-aged person in a family house, but also with my own space out the back, I suppose. Like, does this fit somewhere? Would this work? Would it look good on a shirt? Is there an element of the graphic that would look good on a shirt?
Yeah, nice.
Was there an amazing photo of somebody riding this?
Yeah, okay.
Did it have its own ad or t-shirt or sticker? Like, was it big enough a graphic to have those things? Has it been reissued before? Has that person said anything stupid on social media or not in the last 30 years?
Like, Jason Jesse, maybe?
Yeah,
God damn.
that kind of narrows it down. Nah, not really. It's not that bad. But yeah, just, I think as well, might have mentioned earlier, but on Instagram, if people are like, oh, there's that board, I mean, I'm only going to post it if it's something I like anyway. But then if other people agree, it's like, yeah, I posted this because of that board.
Because it's difficult, because there's certain boards that from like a purely personal point of view, like, I would love you guys to do that. Like, there's like a Ron Carnegie board that I keep sending to Steve Douglas, and it's got a photo of like I think it's a sand tiger shark or something, and then it's got like these cartoon fish looking up from underneath, and it means the world to me. I think it's amazing. So I'd be like, get that in the range, and then when you step back and you're like, well, how many people actually saw that board?
Yeah, right. Compared to the Ron Carnegie Richie Rich, the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Boards like that was, Ron had an amazing photo of doing a heel flip over that bollard thing in the West Side Highway, I think.
Sure.
And it was just the board. It was just caught mid flip or quarter flip, so
Yeah.
it was or 3/4 flip, and it was just that graphic. And everybody that saw that issue of that magazine remembers that.
Yeah.
So that would be one to do.
I don't
And
know what video part it is, but Ron Carnegie does a board slide, like over some steps board slide, then late flips out. I don't know what video part it is, but we found that spot in, I'm sure it was somewhere like New Jersey.
Right,
And
yeah.
I filmed Matt Tomasello do that as an homage to him that came out in a video part like last year.
Nice.
And then Ron Carnegie followed me and I was like, wait.
Yeah, he follows me. I've had some back and forth. He's a
Yeah.
super nice guy.
It was fucking
Yeah.
rad.
he's super positive and just still excited about skateboarding, old
Yeah.
and new.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
So obviously, right, you're going to go into some of the new sort of like reissue lines you guys have got coming up. There's some really cool ones. So you've been talking about like 101.
101, and because that sort of brought Andy Jenkins into the conversation, I thought we should do a wrenched pilot capsule drop.
Right.
The comic strip he wrote for Transworld at
Yeah,
its
okay.
kind of most artistic period, I would say.
Yeah.
And he was just down straight away and came back with 4 boards. So we're going to do two now, black and white, like the strip was, but
Yeah.
new wrench pilot
Yeah.
strip artwork, and then 2 colour ones that'll be Skate Shop Day. Sidewalk are doing a Black Friday day as well, just basically an extra Skate Shop Day, just to like go to your local skate shop.
That's a good idea.
Don't order,
Yeah.
from whatever, like today, just any excuse to suggest that people go into a local skate shop and give them a reason to by
Yeah.
putting these kind of limited products in there.
Toby, hang on a minute, mate. We need to talk about this episode's sponsor. Toby, take it away.
Today's sponsor is Slappy Trucks, straight out of the brain box of Mike Sinclair.
Slappy trucks have a wide range from your classics, hollows, and lowest ever inverted kingpin, and the widest trucks on the market.
I've been rocking the ultra low inverted kingpin trucks for a while now, and they're super good. No braking time, no hang ups, and they grind super good.
Not only that, they have incredible colourways and collaborations with people like Bam Margera, my favourite, and one of the most popular selling trucks, the Curb Killer, Ira.
They've got an incredible team with a bunch of legends like Leo Romero, Ryan Sheckler, Lily Strachan, Braden Hoban, and Cordano Russell.
And you can check out the full range of Slappy trucks right now at rollersnakes.co.uk. Back to the show. Right, I don't know about you. You've probably got a million more questions, but have you spoke to Rocco? Do you like speak to him in any capacity? What's it like working with him and him as a character? Because I think a lot of people would like to work with Rocco, or maybe would not want to work with Rocco in some capacity.
Steve Rocco is in New Zealand, so I think it's 12 hours difference, and he's a morning guy, which works for me. But yeah, they'll Zoom with him or speak to him on the phone. He's still got his original World Industries phone number with 666 in it.
Oh, amazing.
You'd be glad to know. Yeah. And he's exactly what you would think. Like, it's not like he needs to switch it on or anything, or he needs to warm up. He is just 100% so sharp. And we'll usually talk about skateboarding, talk about whatever it is we need to for half an hour. And then we'll talk about ancient civilizations or theology or just or language. It's just I don't know. Yeah, we'll just start talking about something else, and then it'll be like 3 hours later, and it'll be like, all right, really got to go. He's clever. He's funny. He's interesting.
Yeah.
He's got an answer for everything that you want to ask him about skateboarding. Like, there's no, I don't really know, or there's not much of a story there. He will tell you. Like, there's stuff, he remembers everything. He knows these guys inside out. He was a bit older, of course. The things that he allowed to happen that changed skateboarding very quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just got this enthusiasm for it still, and this mind that's endlessly fascinating.
It's really interesting you say, like, he's still super into it now, because, like, from an outside point of view, it looked like he sold World and then kind of went away from skating. And do you know what he's done in the interim period? Has he had like other businesses, or like is he just like he got a good chunk of money and so he's chilling?
Yeah, he moved to New Zealand and chilling. Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, that might be, maybe there are things that he's holding back, but yeah, I don't think he's had to, do very much for a
He
very
hasn't
long
been like
time.
exactly like raring to get back involved in skating until now. Has
That's
he,
right.
really?
Yeah, it was Steve Douglas talking to him because, they were close.
Yeah.
Back then, they both ran kind of big organisations.
Yeah.
And they both were kind of at the forefront of street skating coming in, like with World Industries first and then New Deal. It was, they've got a lot of respect for each other, and they both say that separately. Individually, they'll both talk really highly of the other one.
Yeah, right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
He's super into this all being done properly.
Yeah.
Because various manufacturers have made his products. But
they have, which has been like a little bit sketchy. We were always like, do you want to buy him for the website? And I was just like, they're not official.
It's bootleg, basically.
Yeah, it
really.
is. It's like, it was glorified bootleg.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit sketchy. So,
but yeah, having Steve be able to, write a letter about the board and then hand sign it and that go in with it.
Yeah.
All this extra stuff that he can bring to, excuse me, into what we're doing here just like legitimizes it. And as we've said, there's a lot of reissues out there. There always have been, or there have been for a very long time, but to be doing it properly with all the individuals involved on board makes all the difference, and getting the stories from these people about why, like Steve making Rodney's last freestyle board and then just pulling it from the market and then getting Jeremy Klein to focus it in rubbish heap. It's like, you are going to be a street skater now.
Yeah.
It's funny, like he forced a board shape basically on Rodney Mullen and on Mike V, because Mike V got the twin tail, the barnyard from the Vision
so
mold.
that was forced on Mike.
Yeah, he didn't ask for that, but
Wow.
Rocco knew that this guy was street skating in a way that nobody else was, and he should get that board, and he will adapt to it. And he obviously, that board's in its way changed the shape of skateboards forever.
Yeah.
In the way that Rodney Mullen changed skateboarding forever again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And then him being just turned into a street skater just helped that. I mean, that part in Questionable is just...
Yeah, it was amazing.
Still blows your mind.
I'll never forget. I had a bootleg copy of Questionable that I got from SS20.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took that back with me home and I lent it to my friend. When I got back, they gave it back to me, and his sister had accidentally used that tape to record Harry and the Hendersons, which is some kind of weird Bigfoot thing, over Rodney Mullen's section. I was gutted. Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah. So
It's good you stuck with skateboarding though, despite that blow.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, you should have quit right there and then.
straight away, I'll just sod this. I'm going to
People did quit when Questionable came out.
Yeah.
People just couldn't handle that. That's where skateboarding was going.
Well, it's brutal for the vert skaters and all those kind of guys.
And also for street skaters who were, doing their own thing. But then it's like, this is where we're going. You can't keep up with that. Pros or otherwise.
Yeah.
Absolutely pivotal.
So what's some of the future plans with Sidewalk then? What else is in the pipeline? What's
talking
coming
of
out?
plans and Questionable, there's Plan B. We've got to talk about the
brilliant segue there. So
Yeah,
that's a
it's
professional
really nice.
segue.
just all pros. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
What a joy this is going to be for the viewer. It's going to be the first couple of years, the Mike Ternasky years of Plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Everything all will be signed off artist-wise. I've done interviews in a studio in Costa Mesa, and I get put on a laptop, and these guys have to drive there and talk to the laptop. And so done Carl Heinemann, Jake Rosenberg, Sean Coons, and Steve Rocco so far, and going to do the riders as well. But it's these guys that have got the amazing stories.
Yeah.
It's like there's a interview in Slap in 1993. Mike Carroll interview, and they ask him about Plan B, and he's like, I don't like it, there's too much pressure, I just want to skate. And that's kind of the thing. It's like 17, 18-year-old guys at that time did just want to skate. They're not like wondering how this came about, and considering that it's one of Rocco's companies, it's under his distribution, I just want to go and skate. You know, they're not taking it in, with all respect. So the best stories are from the people actually having to make the decisions and pay for things and organise things and art direct and make videos and create this thing. Even the story behind the Plan B logo that Carl Heinemann did, there's so much to that logo. And he'd said something about, even, you know, a year later, they changed the colour and they changed the thickness of the line, and it totally ruined it. It's so precise. You know, it's like the Apple logo, you know, you see it, all the different lines through it and all this. It's the Plan B logo is like that, even though it just looks like...
That's mad, because it looks so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had said, very quickly they changed it and they ruined it. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. Wow. It's amazing. Like the thought and detail, all the consideration that went into that stuff back then, even though it was on products for teenagers and it was disposable.
So there's still some of those graphics that may be a little bit like hard to do. We talked about like earlier with Blind and stuff, like they did like Disney-fied stuff, and there was like things like the Sean Sheffy Jungle Book, that was probably about 93. Like stuff like that would be hard to do.
Looney Tunes stuff that was across all brands. I think there was a board on each brand that was the Looney Tunes Martians.
Right, okay.
As well, it would be hard to do. There's Star Wars, the Sean Coon Star Wars series for Plan B that we're trying to do officially.
Wow,
you have
be a
to,
big deal.
you know, you can really punk it with something like that.
No. How about like Mike Carroll had that slick board that had like, it looked like the Nevermind.
Yeah, Never Trend.
Yeah, that'd be quite a tricky one to do.
Music stuff, I know for a fact, is really hard to do because music publishers aren't really making the money for their artists that they used to, because people aren't buying. Vinyl's cool again, but people really aren't buying physical media in the quantities that they were. So they need to be looking out for all these other opportunities to make money.
Sure.
There's the Clyde Singleton, it's not called Diggable Planets, but that board with the cover of Blowout Comb, or the inside sleeve of Blowout Comb on it. And Steve, I think Gorm had wanted to do that, or Steve Douglas wanted to do that. And from kind of knowing music publishing, music licensing, it's like, there's no way. It can't happen. And they ran it by Sidewalk legal people, and they're just like, that label was consumed by Warner Brothers. It's one of the biggest media organizations in the world, or whoever owns Warner Brothers now. And they will just come for you. And they could, in my experience, again with music, they could just say, if we made skateboards, we would have probably made $5 million on them. Something absurd. So you now owe us $5 million, because that's what we estimate we've lost because of you making that. So it's just, you can't really touch music stuff.
So how about something like the Matt Hensley like Firebird board, which was one of the original ones? That's like kind of, because that's kind of like, it's still a rip on a car graphic, isn't it? Effectively.
Oh, is it? Right. Was that from an actual Pontiac?
I think
Firebird?
It was on a maybe. Like, I mean, it just looks so similar, but like.
Right. Don't know about the motoring industry. Probably the same though.
Right. Okay.
But then, I mean, you guys will know. It's like, could this be confused for official merchandise?
Yeah.
It's like, is this something that they would normally put out? And would a car manufacturer put out a skateboard? Or is it more likely a skateboard company would put out a tribute to the car manufacturer?
Okay,
right. It's a homage.
Yeah.
Or something. But Diggable Planets or Souls of Mischief potentially would make a skateboard. So somebody could be buying that thinking that it's official merch, and that's where it gets a lot more difficult.
So how does this line up? Because obviously Plan B is still going. It's its own entity. How does that line up with the reissues? Did they have to give you like sign off on?
Well, Colin's involved.
Right. Okay.
Certainly. But I mean, there's not much relation between the 2 years of Plan B. You know, the Venn diagram of Plan B 91, 92 compared to now.
It had several iterations, didn't it? Because it was like
it went away
era, post Ternasky, and then it kind of like disappeared in about 97-ish. Yeah. And then it came back.
I think Revolution might have been 97, the Plan B video that nobody watched.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter that Plan B exists now because it's doing nothing with its own heritage now.
Right, yeah.
It's just big logo boards, isn't it? It's just, I'm sure they're fine, but nobody's buying that because they saw Mike Carroll's part in Questionable.
Got you. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's really interesting. So there's like enough of a gap, because they have sold like a few. They did like the Baloo the Bear sort of like Jungle Book Sheffy, and they did like the Hannibal Lecter Danny Way one, and both of them I looked at them and I was like, and I was like, how are they getting away with that? Like, because that's like, whoa, that's right on the nose. That's kind of like guerrilla style.
Yeah, that would have been just punking it and getting it out there.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Blind exists now, albeit owned by the same people who've just bought it back anyway. So there's like two versions of Blind that you can buy a Reaper complete.
Yeah.
But soon you will be able to buy, another Guy Mariano board from 92 or 93.
Sick. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. So it sounds like that.
Yeah, the stuff that we can do as well with changing colours. I know Powell do it, of course, like in every possible variation of colour, just to bring the thing out again.
Yeah.
But with the kind of fit and finish that Sidewalk can do, like if you think of the Opera and the Madness boards, the sort of lenticular stuff, the holographic stuff, being able to put that in the background. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, imagine the Natus Challenger disaster, the Oops board. Yeah. But instead of a blue sky or red sky as it came out in as well, it could be like holographic or something like that. Things like that can be done.
Right, yeah.
So, in limited amounts, but it just makes it so that it's not just another reissue. It's not just that thing again. Yeah. You might have that one, but you might want this one as well.
Yeah, got you.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's nice as well. I mean, those Opera and Madness boards are crazy.
They're pretty much a cut above, aren't they? They're really, really nice boards.
Yeah. The Jacuzzi kind of price point board, the Koi one as well. That's got that. It's just... Yeah. Has never seen skateboards look so nice.
I do love what the guys at Sidewalk are doing at the moment, because they're just kind of like, they've gone, right, okay, we need to provide boards for these kind of people and these kind of people. We're going to cover this, and then they do it with so much like thought and effort. And then when they do like, just on our side, when they do like the sales meetings, they'll like broadcast it, and like we're all involved, and you sat there and they're taking you through the whole range, and there's so much thought gone into every single thing. I think they're doing a good job. And like when Steve was over, he's like, it is, what they're doing is for skateboarders and for skateboarding, and they are actually owned by skaters, which makes a huge difference. Like, so instead of it just being like some guys in suits just exploiting these brands that have like, people put so much love into for so many years, and then these guys in suits go, okay, we'll have that now, and we'll just pump out a load of crap, and we'll stick it in, Walmart or whatever. That's been going on so much with so many other brands. To see Sidewalk come through, and they by their own admission, it's kind of like a works in progress, and they're constantly they're a small team and they're working really hard, but they're putting that effort in, and I really hope it works for them, because I think they're doing a great job.
It's going in the right direction, definitely. To be able to focus more on Steve Rocco brands with heritage. We still do other brands. There's a couple of things coming up, but sort of smaller things, not insignificant things, but things that maybe didn't kind of shine as brightly, but are still amazing. But to be able to have all those Rocco brands and to be able to pick what we do from them, and then just have Steve or Bod or Rocco or Mike V or whoever just, you want this guy? Like, hey, speak to these guys. It's legit. It's wild.
Do you think we could see some more New Deal reissues? Because I know that kind of...
We are going to,
good. Because, the John Montesi, like Little Man Alien board and stuff. Like, that was
sure. Or even
they did that amazing.
Post that era, kind of post Andy Howell graphic era, there will be stuff
so when we're talking sort of like 95 to 97, that kind of
Children of the Sun era.
Children of the Sun era, nice.
Good, cool.
Yeah, that'll be sick. So Toby did mention before he left that, like, to talk about like the New Deal wheels went from like big New Deals to these tiny little bearing covers and everything. Do you think we'll ever see a reissue of any of those little bearing covers? Is there would anybody want them, do you think?
You would know more about that than me.
Yeah,
really,
it's true.
Kind
I
of
think,
market.
Yeah, I think maybe some people would like to nerd out on some tiny wheels. You could maybe like have them as like a trinket, like 30
You wear around your neck,
39
or
mil.
put it through your ears.
Yeah.
Big hole.
Yeah.
I just like that you get kids coming in there like, oh my God, 42 mil wheels, I'm going to try them.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm behind the counter and they're like, these are shit. And you are going to regret putting them on as soon as you leave a skate park.
Yeah.
And then they come
Yeah.
back and they're like, can I have some 54 millimeter, please?
Yeah, I mean, like,
But I'm always attracted to them. Like, like Spitfire did
Yeah.
the keychain. We had people
Yeah.
coming in taking the keychain
Yeah.
off to put bearings in.
wow, because I think you see those little wheels and they do look kind of cute. and
I just
miniature.
like that if you put them on a set of bigger trucks, you can slash everything, even if it's on the ground. You just go for something. Just
slashing is definitely that's
Slash a
what it-
bump in the ground.
yeah,
Yeah, like-
literally like an uneven slab. You got those wheels on with some like A77. You're grinding it or eating shit on it.
You're definitely
somehow.
like the smallest crack and you're finished, aren't you? Like trying to skate those back in the day was hard work.
Yeah. Good job we weren't trying to go too fast.
Yeah, no,
But-
because we were too busy kind of working on like
Well, the trousers were too baggy and collecting too much air for you to be able to
Yeah,
move.
Your boards, I just remember like my nose getting caught under my trousers. Like,
yeah, and
trying
you'd
to-
have cut your jeans off, but then they'd have frayed and gone up to about here, and they're huge.
Yeah.
Crutch is too low to move, so you're kind of restricted, even though they're baggy. And then you've got these tiny wheels, and then you're basically working off not skill but probability
Yeah.
that at some point, kicking your board, you're going to land back on it.
It's mad. Like in '92, it was about wearing the biggest trousers you could possibly find. Like
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
the big guy shop and getting these huge trousers.
Yeah.
Then 10 years later, say in 2002, it was about wearing the tightest, skinniest trousers you could find.
Yeah.
It just went from one extreme to another in 10 years. And 10 years in skateboarding now, it doesn't feel nearly as long as that or nearly as
Yeah.
significant in terms of change.
I mean, we're back in the baggy jeans era at the moment. Like,
but not baggy, like...
No, I'm
I feel like
I'm
we're
giving it 18
I feel like
months.
we're in the middle. I feel
Yeah.
like we're in the middle at the.
No, I'm giving it 18
What's that lad's name?
months
Is it
since-
Aimu? He's bringing back like
Aimu, like the
he's bringing
S
back the
rider.
big
Yeah.
big trousers.
But I don't know.
But they
man, I
have
think
shape
it's on the
now.
way.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're big, but they're tapered and have
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah, there's-
Whereas before it was like they were big and cut off, so
Oh,
they
it's
would
just
because
a-
they
it
were
was
a
just a huge fat man's
44-inch
trousers.
waist.
So,
yeah. They've just New Deal and Blind or whoever have just done fucked, have just ordered these big guy jeans and put
Yeah.
their own logo on them. They're not like, they don't go in at the
no, they're
waist.
just
Yeah.
flat.
You just have to like scrunch them up and pull a belt around them.
Will we be seeing some reissue jeans of that original shape?
I want that to happen. I want there to be more apparel, but to get it right is quite hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
You need the iconic graphic. Like, so like Powell like are able to produce like, McGill tees and Hawk skull tees, and people still buy them because A, they're cool graphics, and B, a lot of people remember them, and you can just keep pumping them out. But like when you like, so maybe you could do it with some of the reissue stuff. Like if you got some of the really iconic sort of graphics in there, you can put that on tees. Like that'd be nice. Like I always think that there's a lot more room for like skate clothing that isn't just like a brand tee.
right, there's a Geno board that we're doing with this 101 drop, that it's a pizza board. It's got a chef, it says fast delivery,
Yeah.
and it barely existed, but I think it's brilliant, and I thought we needed to do it. So that'll be one coming out. We need to figure out the size of it, wheelbase and the
Yeah.
width, everything, but the elements of that graphic just work so well on a t-shirt. Like, it's, if you take the chef off it and have it there and then have fast delivery Iannucci's with a phone number and the big chef in the back, it just looks like a pizza
Yeah, that's
shop
pretty
employee
sick.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
So being able to do things like that rather than it just being the graphic or one part of the graphic, but being able to take the time and figure these things out and make it into something that you can still wear in middle age. You can still have Gino's name on your thing without it looking like rah. Like, it doesn't need to be all hip print stuff. It doesn't need to be massive, or it doesn't need to be. I don't think the clothing needs to be, the printable stuff needs to be era accurate.
No, because they yeah, you're right. Like that hip print stuff, that was pretty. It's just not a good placement, isn't it? And
Like
it was
ravey
people-
stuff
yeah.
when we were all 15.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll see it and think, no way, it's that amazing. You're not going to buy it, so you're not going to actually wear it.
Yeah.
But then you still want to kind of rep these things that you care about. You still might want to wear a 101 shirt. But then like with the New Deal rugby shirts, I think Dwindle put a short sleeve version of that out in 2020.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have been short sleeve, it was long sleeve.
Yeah.
The green and white or the black and white
Yeah.
long sleeve with the embroidery there. That's something that should be done, I think. Totally. It's you can actually wear it as a regular person living a regular life. And also, it looks cool, and it's that New Deal one that Armando Barajas wore or whoever.
Yeah. We need the underworld element Armando Barajas board. The one with the little green character on. That's another one I'm lobbying hard for.
I'll pass that on, certainly. Yeah. Andy Howell kind of comes on and off radar, but I can pass on, that market feedback.
So that's crazy. So like with Sidewalk, you've got access to kind of like reissues from 101, Plan B, Blind, New Deal,
World Industries,
Underworld Element, Mad Circle.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like
there's a lot there.
There's so much that people would like to see.
The stuff that's kind of already in the room, but there's still nothing that stops us from calling somebody up and saying, hey, we'd like to do this thing. And in every case so far, they've been like, what, really? Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, it'll be small. It'll not be like a money spinner, but it just like pays respect.
Exactly.
To what
It's kind of done for the love of it, isn't it? And like we were talking about earlier, like there's a key demographic, and I think the people who were skating in 91 to 93, because people didn't keep skating too much later in life, you're actually talking probably only like a generation of maybe 5 years, 7 to 5 years. So who are now best between early 40s and early 50s at best. So this is the time to be getting those graphics out for them to scratch that itch.
I think you're unique with your enthusiasm for the Powell stuff, like being as young as you are and being so passionate about that stuff. But as I understand it, a lot of the people who are buying that stuff are the people who rode that stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And
still 40 plus.
Oh, yeah.
It's still
actually, I'd say they're older than that, because those, like when I was started in 89, so that the first year was like Powell graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. And like, obviously I remember them, but where I have that real love is like the early 90s boards. And that's what I get hyped on. So, and so those Powell and Santa Cruz collector guys, I'd actually put them in 50.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually.
It's still 40 plus.
Yeah.
So, but, and these guys have
stuff too. Yeah, it makes sense.
Those guys have got a finite amount of space.
Yeah.
And how many of these boards do they need, or are their wives and children and grandchildren going to allow them to have?
Well, then it turned in with the Bones Brigade ones. It turned into this people buying them, especially around COVID. They were buying them speculatively, and then they were planning on flipping them. And they brought out possibly the worst humans on earth. They would buy them on Klarna, try and sell them on
Try and flip
eBay,
them, not sell them, then cancel.
Not sell them, then claim they had a scratch or something, and then send them back. And then like, when you're like, well, okay, in that case, it's like quantity of one per person, so we can make sure people who actually want them get them. And they'd be like, you don't have any right to do that, blah, blah. It'd just go mental. Worst humans ever.
I heard about people buying reissues and leaving them outside for a couple of nights so that they get aged and then passing them off as originals.
Wow.
Wow, that's desperate.
Yeah, you do have to be kind of careful. Like, there's some weird stuff goes on eBay with like Japanese listings. So you'll find like a great board, like a great not reissue, like an original board you want, and then it'll be listed at maybe $1,000, and then you'll scroll down, and then a little while down, like the same picture, same photo, but listed by somebody else is like 800. And then it appears like multiple times from different vendors. I haven't worked out what's going on there, but it feels sketchy.
Yeah, you don't want to buy it and
no way.
Find out.
No, because a lot of the best reissues, not reissues, originals come from Japan. They seem to have like a wealth of them over there.
You know what as well? And Sean will probably understand this as well. so that reminded me of like with records on Discogs, you'll have someone selling some for 1,500. They've used the same, it's just the same set of photos
Yeah.
every single time. And you have to read the small print of like, there's a crack here, there's a this there. But if
Yeah.
you're going based just off that picture,
Yeah.
and then it turns up and it's like the completely different thing,
Yeah.
completely wrong thing.
Or maybe that's what's going
it's
on.
so
Maybe
sketchy.
they-
Your record grading's an absolute
It's 'cause-
nightmare. Is it VG or is it VVG?
It's
is
like
it near mint?
VG plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like with eBay and Discogs, you go to sell something, it says, what are you selling? I sold like a Canon lens that I'd used on my camera that was scratched. I put in Canon lens, it filled it all out and supplied a picture.
Yeah.
And I had to add the pictures and put
Yeah.
like read description, it is
Yeah.
scratched. Because to make it as quick and as efficient as possible, it's just duplicate listings.
Would you like AI to generate your description? No.
Yeah,
No, because
it
it'll be
is-
Please
insane.
don't.
It's actually scratched and damaged.
This,
And it'll have like hyphens and things that say, now, and here's the kicker. And you're like,
that's a
AI.
great
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great question. And here's the kicker.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of good shit coming out of Sidewalk Distribution.
Yeah.
What I request, it's not a very big job. It's a very small one. Like, and I mean it. It's a very small job that I'd like Steve to do. Get every 411 on VHS, get it upscaled to HD, and then put it back on VHS.
Oh, that's
just
not
a tiny,
thousands of hours.
just
of
a
work.
tiny little job. Imagine upscaling it to HD, then putting it on a VHS that's only like 360p anyway.
Are you applying for this? Is this you applying for
That
this?
will
Is that
get
gonna
me
be
a
your
job in
job?
America for the next 10 years. So yeah, I will upscale and digitally remaster all of it with AI.
Yeah.
and we'll do it that way. But
That's the world could do with a full set of VHS 411s. Welcome, I've got a full set
oh really? They've got
as
every one
of
of them.
very recently. Yeah,
'Cause
Sam
there's
was
still people searching for them. Still people searching for gap fillers and
that was the thing that nobody bought, every one of, I think. It's like,
Because there's also like special editions like Brazilian Vacation and
which
like
you had,
Pomp ones. and
if you'd been buying it anyway, Europe 95, that's worth buying by
stuff.
itself.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Those comps were amazing. And like me and my business partner Sam, we were looking back at them and we're just like, if you look at those like big European comps with like the like huge branding, like massive Globe logos and everything, and like the hype in those comps were just raw. They were just skaters, and like the branding was amazing and everything. And there was no like sort of like didn't rely on energy drinks and everything. The industry sustained itself, and it's just like it was amazing.
yeah.
Time.
When does the book come out and where can people buy it? I think that's a good one to end on.
the book comes out on the 28th of May.
Yep.
It should be in all good skate shops. It's skate shop distribution is through Keen. If you buy it from a skate shop, you'll get extras that we're still working on, but by the time this comes out, it should be done. Should definitely be done, which should be a tote bag and regional postcards. So a set of 6
amazing.
postcards related to where you buy it from. So if you buy it in Liverpool, you get postcards of Liverpool photos, or
That's
Sheffield or
sick.
whatever.
Yeah, that's really
I think
good.
so.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be, obviously I want anybody that buys it to buy it from a skate shop, but
Yeah.
these days you got to give them a reason to go into a skate shop. And I think having,
You know what someone's going to do? They're going to get a copy from every shop that's regional to get those cards.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be hitting you up like, "Hey mate, can I return 5
Yeah.
books, please?"
I'm thinking people might want to swap, like I'll
like
swap you a
trading
Brian
cards.
Sumner for a Neil Irwin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think-
that'd be amazing.
But yeah,
It's a good
so
idea.
regionally related postcards, and there'll be the regional launches as well.
Mhm.
Battersford do bookshop distribution, so it's in Waterstones and whatever WH Smith's called
Yeah.
now, in all the independent bookshops. It'll be in museum and gallery bookshops. Rizzoli are doing worldwide bookshop distribution, so it's pretty covered. It's in all the bookshops. Yeah,
So is that May? You say May 28th, didn't you?
yeah, it's a Thursday.
Is that
I think
worldwide or UK for now? May
that's
28th?
worldwide.
Worldwide. So
Yeah.
it's hitting shelves all on the same day.
Yeah, definitely. Because I had a
Your
look at
Instagram's
the
about to pop off with mentions and tags. Then you're probably going to want to put it on mute for about a week or two.
Oh yeah, it'll be good to know that people can actually buy it I mean, they can buy it now, you can pre-order it, but know that people can walk into a skateboard shop and have a look at it and talk to the person in there about it and buy it maybe. But the Rizzoli thing helps a lot. That gets it into a lot of places that would have been harder for kind of a lesser distributor to do. But so like I'd looked at the Barnes and Noble US chain, and they've got it pre-sale now for 20th of May. So
amazing,
sick.
Well, make sure you hit up your local skate shop. Buy the goddamn fucking book, because it will sell out, and then people will be whinging that they didn't get it. Or if it sells out, second press.
I think you're going to need a second press, because that feels like a ultimate Christmas.
But you're going to have to put a stamp or something on it, like a V2 stamp, so you know that it's like
different branding. So
when it comes to like 20 years down the line, someone's going to sell it. People will be looking like me on Discogs. Is it a first press? Is it a second?
Did they just leave it out in the garden overnight to make it look cool?
Because it's a collector's item now on its own. So as time goes on, and it might inspire someone else to think, fuck that guy. The golden era is from 2002 to 2026.
They'd be wrong, but
they would be wrong. But let's go outside in the sun and chill out. So we've been in here now for 3 hours, 30 something minutes.
We've got nearly 4 hours of footage, raw footage.
4 hours. So it's been a good conversation. It's been a pleasure having you on, and thank you for Nick for covering as well, because Toby was sorting out secret vertically challenged goth. That's what I call him now. Vertically challenged goth business. So let's get a round of applause in the studio for Mr. McDonald over here. Make sure you go.
That's for him.
Make sure you go buy his book. Right, let's go call Steve Rocco.